Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Wrestling Rundown, episode number one. Is it 144? I believe it's 144 because last week was 143. So we're not on a regular 2 o'clock p.m. time because we just couldn't work it in that schedule. And I gave everybody a poll to vote for too, and they're all, come on, James, you got to get because we'll tell this story real quick. James
143.
Yeah. James the He-Man Hebert, James Archangel, James Side 95 backup didn't even know that we were doing this show today. So it's like, even though we've announced it in the chat like 35 times, so it's like, he's just gotta, I don't know.
He needs help.
Yeah, and all he could have prevented this by voting in the poll. He could have voted for 2 o'clock p.m., but nope, he's just gotta do it. It's gotta be James. So.
Those fault.
Yep. So we're gonna start. We're gonna introduce the guest first. By the way, it's the other person that's also on video. So let's introduce the guest first.
All right. Hello again, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, I'm just Simple Man, and my name is Noah Foster.
All right, and then we got the other co-host on the show,
the Wrestling Rundown Heavyweight Champion. I don't feel like saying the rest of it, Chris.
And obviously you got the main co-host, the guy that owns the YouTube channel that we do this on, Owen the Birdman Finch, who's also the challenger for the Wrestling Rundown Predictions Champion, because I won the quickest ever predictions match on this show. Like, I don't think it gets any quicker. I won the quickest match ever. So I made history 2 weeks ago. So
you did. You made history.
Yeah. I don't think it's gonna get any shorter than that too. So how long was that match? Like what?
An almost instant give up.
Yep. So that's awesome. I was part of history twice. I was a part of the shortest rundown ever, the longest one. No, 3 times. The shortest rundown ever, the longest, and the shortest predictions match ever. I don't know what the longest one. I think I was also a part of the longest one too, like with the best of 3 series that we had in the fall. So
yeah, for sure.
I'm making history left and right in this show, where you guys are just sitting back. Well, Noah, he has an excuse because he's new. But Chris, where's your history? Where was that?
I've been a part of it almost just as long as you have.
Nah. I was also on the first episode. I was also on the first episode ever, Chris, and I've also have been on the most episodes of this show. I've only missed.
You're the host.
I'm just saying, I'm making history left and right. You got to catch up. Like the only thing I haven't.
It's not possible.
The only thing I haven't done. The only thing I haven't done has been the longest reigning champion ever. That's my own fault because I probably would have been if I didn't mess up at the live reactions.
Well, you got Fastlane coming up, which I'll be going to see live. So good luck, gentlemen.
Yep. But anyhow,
gonna kick your ass.
We just gave you guys a little history lesson of the show. Let's get to what was the. See, we were just doing that right on the fly. Speaking on the fly, let's get to what this week was like in WWE. But before we do that, we do have some side topics we got to talk about first. I almost forgot again this week.
I forgot completely.
Yeah. So we're gonna start off obviously with the. Let me just put the camera up so you can see him. The person that's right behind me over here, The Undertaker. I'm supposed to be an Undertaker fanboy, and I'm forgetting to talk about the most important news of The Undertaker for 3 weeks. So I'll obviously bring this up in case nobody knows, in case nobody reads any wrestling sites. If you go on Mark Calloway's, which is The Undertaker's real name, Instagram, is it Instagram or Twitter account?
It might be both.
It might be both at this point, but I know it's Twitter.
Yeah. Well, if you go on one of those social media accounts, you will see that he's removed all WWE mention off of his Instagram account. And I remember, Chris, when you showed me that, I was like, that's interesting. And I wasn't sure if at first it was a work because somebody did bring up that Shawn Michaels did the same thing before he became a trainer at the Performance Center. So that was obviously very suspicious. So I really wasn't thinking anything of it. I thought at first it was just going to be a work, so that way people won't think he's wrestling at WrestleMania. But then we have, obviously, I think the biggest thing that news out of it. We also find out that the Undertaker's taking indie bookings. We find out that he's charging a lot too when it comes to that. And so, how much money is it? Like what, $2 million?
200,000 an hour, I think.
Oh, so it probably is $2 million.
It's an insane amount.
And then we find out during the Double or Nothing. Is it Double or Nothing? AEW Double or Nothing.
Yeah, that's the show coming from AEW. Also, the same weekend of the event, I guess it's supposed to be showing up on Starcast.
Yeah, which obviously is going to be like what All In Starcast was, where it has past legends and stuff.
Yep.
And obviously, then we find out that Vince McMahon is pissed at the Undertaker, which obviously I understand that part of it because Undertaker's pretty much been a WWE guy since he debuted in the company in 1990, and all of a sudden now he's doing all these other outside projects. So I can obviously understand that, but also I can understand Undertaker's perspective where he's just done wrestling because he's wrestled even beyond the WWE/WWF in 1990. He wrestled in WCW. Before that, and then obviously wrestled in other wrestling companies before that. I actually have an old clip, DVD that shows like Steve Austin's early careers, and he has like a match with the Undertaker on that show. So it's very interesting, very surprising, and what does this mean for the Undertaker's future? We don't really know what it means for the Undertaker's future. So I'm very curious about this. Well, we start with Noah. What are your thoughts about this Undertaker situation?
It's kind of perplexing to me considering that he truly has been pure and true to the WWE for over 20 plus years, 25 years considering his run in Survivor Series. But, I mean, you got to consider, he has a family. He's over 50 years old. He's already gone through double hip replacement surgery. Yet they still haven't wrestled at least 2 more matches after that. He's got to be done with wrestling at this point, but he still values how much the Undertaker character is, not only to his career, but to the fans of wrestling in general. Obviously, Vince McMahon sees that he owns the Undertaker. He owns the Undertaker gimmick, and he doesn't appreciate Undertaker going on his own way. It just comes down to this. Vince and Undertaker, they're just not on right terms right now. Now, whether or not this also hinders him going into the WWE Hall of Fame, which I guess was maybe going to happen, but I guess that kind of got eliminated after someone kind of spoiled it in a way. It's really up in the air to say at this point. I guess the only thing I'm really thinking about is what is going to be the next appearance for The Undertaker after Starcast.
What about you, Chris?
To me, it's really weird because if you think of The Undertaker, he's synonymous with WWE. It's basically what everyone remembers him from. If you think of The Undertaker, you probably would have thought that he would have been in WWE for his entire career. But he wasn't. I mean, he was obviously elsewhere. But, I mean, that's a long 29 years this year. 29 years he's been in WWE. The Survivor Series this year would be 29 years if he would have been employed by WWE. Maybe he just wants to do his own thing. Because he's done and he wants to, and the Undertaker name is super valuable and it can be super profitable. So I don't know. It's really weird for me.
It's really weird for me too because, like I said, I never pictured Undertaker going anywhere other than WWE, especially too because how late of his career he's doing this type of stuff too. So it's very weird. Could this all just potentially be like a huge work and he ends up showing up at WrestleMania? That could very well be a possibility, but I don't think they would have advertised him for start. Like maybe that part of it's the work, but maybe the part that they're trying to work is that Vince is pissed at the Undertaker. That part could be the work. It's really tough, but yeah, it's a very weird situation, and because a lot of people now are going to ask, is Undertaker going to AEW? That's not going to happen, just because, like we said, Undertaker, I think, is done wrestling. But if Undertaker did show up at Double or Nothing, that would be a huge buzz for AEW that the Undertaker actually came out and stuff like that. I think that would like break the internet as terms of wrestling right there. So,
or if Mark Calloway like shows up in the audience at some point during a cameo. I will say this though, even though maybe WWE aren't on the same terms with Undertaker doing, or excuse me, Mark Calloway doing this, he isn't on the alumni page yet, unlike Chris Jericho.
yeah, so we don't know what's going to happen with The Undertaker, but obviously we will keep you posted week to week. But also, you also have some, speaking, of people possibly going to AEW, we had 3 releases this week. I'll talk about each one of them. Hideo Itami was released. He was officially this week. We really won't talk about that much because we talked about that, the past couple of weeks. But obviously, we have Ty Dillinger, who's been released. I don't think this one's been much of a surprise because he had been requesting, at first he requested to go back to NXT so he could be utilized better, which that would have made sense. Especially, too, I don't know why they wouldn't put him back down at NXT anyways because, they've just recently called up all these talents now and stuff from NXT. I feel like him going back down to NXT would benefit NXT, so that was really weird. But then also, too, but then when they said no, he requested his release from the company. Now, obviously, everybody knows Ty Dillinger. He's got the 10 gimmick. He's been pretty much with WWE since 2000, I believe, 13. But obviously, he was there longer than that as Sean Spears. And then, Gavin Spears later on, in 2008 doing the ECW initiative and stuff like that. So, very interesting. And then obviously recently Cody Rhodes this week went on Twitter or like some sort of talk show, I think both, and wished Ty Dillinger / Sean Spears the best of luck wherever he goes.
Don't settle.
He's possibly going to go to AEW just because him and Cody Rhodes, have a history with each other because they were a tag team back in OVW and stuff like that. So that could very well happen. Kind of sucks for Ty Dillinger. I really can't say he was misutilized because I feel like it was only the 10 chant that really got him over. I don't really, he was a pretty decent talent and stuff like that, but I just don't think there was enough spots for him on the roster to be something. And but I feel like he definitely deserved more opportunities to have a chance than he got. So yeah, obviously we'll talk about that one real quick. We'll start with Chris this time. Any thoughts on Ty Dillinger's departure from the company?
Could care less.
Okay, there you go. Short and sweet. What about you, Noah? Any thoughts about Ty Dillinger's exit from the company?
I feel like at this point, yeah, he hasn't really been utilized in weeks. Last time he was used, Randy Orton broke his finger. He got an injury, and that was it. It's really sad considering that I felt like he really was doing well in NXT. I feel like if they were to let the NXT call-ups and veterans and whatever balance between the main roster and NXT, maybe they would be happier, maybe they would be known better, maybe they would be utilized longer, maybe they wouldn't want to leave. But yeah, Ty Dillinger, most memorable things. He had some great bouts with the glorious Bobby Roode down in NXT, even before he was NXT champion. He had a nice bout one time with Shinsuke Nakamura on the way to the last minute standing match with AJ Styles. I thought that really helped.
That started the whole 1-2-10 thing.
True, yeah. But I mean, hey, the 10 thing started all the way back in NXT. I kind of felt like if they gave him like a manager, he probably could have capitalized on his 10 gimmick. Maybe shades of like, I'm a perfect 10. I can do stuff as well as Mr. Perfect. But he won't call himself Mr. Perfect. He will just call himself a perfect 10. But the bottom line is this. I feel like wherever he goes, it will be a fresh start. It will be better. Whether it's AEW, over the budget, Battle Royale, maybe? We'll see. Best of luck in his future endeavors. Also, fun spot. Remember, he was Stan. Sunday.
Yes, he was.
I just picked Stan.
And then obviously we have another release that might be more of a surprise to me and Noah, considering he was just on 205 Live this week and stuff like that. We have TJP, better known as TJ Perkins. This one kind of surprises me a little bit because, well, actually, it doesn't surprise me that much, but just because of how much he's been utilized in the cruiserweight division. He was the first ever cruiserweight champion, and his release just kind of came out of nowhere. Obviously he had that great series of matches with Noam Dar, like when Noam Dar came back into the company. He had that weird feud with like the Brian Kendrick, like right when the cruiserweight division started. That don't even talk about that, but it happened. Like I said, won the cruiserweight classics. He had that awesome match with Shinsuke Nakamura on like that one episode of NXT. He weirdly turned heel on Austin Aries and like joined forces with Neville, which was weird. He had like the weirdest run, I think, in WWE, if anything else. And then he had that weird thing where he would like freak out after he lost his matches originally, and then he did something else in 205 Live recently.
He took ass from the Lucha House Party and ended up in the culmination of a Lucha House Party story with Mike Maria Kanellis and in a freaking tornado tag match and lost on a pile of pinatas.
Yep. So he had a really weird one in WWE, but there's more to TJP's releases than Hideo Itami's and Ty Dillinger's. Apparently, TJP was very difficult to work with backstage, which I guess I'm kind of surprised about because he seems like a cool guy, but I guess I was wrong. And then apparently the tattoos that he has, which we've noted the past few times we've seen him, they say that he didn't get permission to get those tattoos. I don't know who you ask permission to. If you ask permission from Vince or Triple H or anybody else. But then recently he went on Twitter and said, I thought I had permission to get those 6 months ago. So that's definitely interesting right there. We don't really know what WWE's side of the story is, and I don't think WWE is going to waste the time to say their side of the story. So it's very weird about TJP because it's really weird because he also talked about how he was going to go to AEW, and then he was released right afterwards. But that seems really weird because obviously WWE wouldn't just release somebody that says they're going to go to another company. So I don't know what's going on with TJP.
He wasn't going to go to AEW.
Oh, I thought I read a source online that said like that he talked about it on like his Twitter or something.
He said that he might have talked about it, but he didn't.
He said that he didn't want to go to AEW because like WWE was like his dream job, and why would I, leave my I forget what he said, like
current employer.
But yeah, TJP is definitely the weirdest out of the three releases. We're gonna start with Noah this time because he also watches TJP week to week.
Hashtag 205 Live Matters, people. The funny thing is, ever since that tag team storyline, he really hasn't been involved. But even before then, you could tell he was getting frustrated with the direction of his wrestling booking in WWE. Yeah, it was a dream job, but he wasn't getting the booking that he wanted. He felt like he deserved more. He called himself the Cruiserweight. At one point, I thought they were really going to try and push him on like a main roster match because that's what he really wanted. He had some great bouts, though. I saw him face Cedric Alexander live. That was pretty darn good. And yeah, it's really odd considering that he may have been released based on changes to the appearance because WWE is all about appearance. And we all know how petty WWE is. We also know how WWE is trying to protect themselves, not look like a company that releases its employees, hence the AEW effect. So yeah, TJP being released out of nowhere, especially after this week when he actually was on 205 Live in a great match, it really caught me by surprise. Now, where this takes him from here, I have no idea. I honestly thought he was turning into the Dolph Ziggler of 205 Live after his gear, and just seems like careless persona. I feel like the only thing he was missing at this point was a record scratch in his theme. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Best of luck, TJP.
All right, Chris. Let's see what you have to say about the TJP release.
It's weird because he's like, I don't know. You got to get permission, dude. That's all I have to say. Like,
well, the thing is, we don't know how
far. It took
far.
Baron Corbin super duper long to get his head shaved.
True.
Baron Corbin had been asking to shave his head for fucking months.
Yeah,
months and months, and they wouldn't let him because of their brand deals and like their action figures and their likeness and everything. So, and he wants to get a head tattoo, and they're not letting him. So
Yeah.
It's just, you got to get permission to do it. I don't care if you said you got permission 6 months ago. That doesn't really matter. You got to listen to what your company. So they probably told him no, and he did it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, because, you know, he probably got fed up with he wanted, because some people like to do stuff on their own. I mean, think about this. AJ Lee, Paige, they did their own thing. Paige got like a tattoo at one point. I thought she almost got in trouble for that. Pam Royce dyed her hair. Who knows where that came from? So, I mean, WWE's all about appearance because, like you said, it's all about marketing because they use these personas and personalities in merchandise, in promotions, on banners, in action figures, in video games, you name it.
Yeah. I remember, too, Rusev, like, Fastlane 2017 cut his hair.
Exactly.
They're pissed about that, too.
Yeah, they are extremely petty. They expect you to keep the one look that they expect you to carry in the ring. They define your look for you, whether you like it or not.
The only one that hasn't gotten in trouble is John Cena, obviously.
Well, we all know why.
Yeah. Which kind of sucks. We could obviously talk about, I don't think it's too, because he's like a big Hollywood star now. That's probably part of it, because also it's because he's their golden boy. TJP's not their, if TJP was their golden boy, it would be a different story.
Well, yeah, but it also goes back to what Vince says. Nobody is bigger than WWE. Well, John Cena must be pretty darn big in WWE if they allow him to literally do anything.
Yeah. That's a different topic for another day, but
true.
I also have another thing that just that I posted in the chat earlier if you didn't see, but Bruce Pritchard's back in WWE.
Yes, I saw that. And here's the thing, because I was reading more about that, because think about all these reasons. You probably saw the same video I did, Chris and Owen, on WWE. All these new hires for, I guess, the creative board or whatever. They got Abyss, Chris Parks. They got Gregory Helms, Shane Helms. They got Davari, and they got the Sanjay Dutt. We already know they're hiring like all of Impact's former creative team and bringing back some old faces. Yet they're trying to say that they're trying to go in a new direction.
Yeah.
With Bruce Pritchard being back in the fold, it's really screwy.
I kind of
think it's fun. I wish James was on right now because you don't know Noah, but Gregory Helms / Shane Helms and James have a history together on Twitter. Go on your Twitter and look up. I don't even know where you can find that tweet because it was last summer, but
it's probably buried for all I know. But I'll take your word for it. Let me guess.
He's a top position in creative is what Bruce Pritchard is. He'll be at Raw in Atlanta on Monday.
Oh, interesting.
But since we're talking about new hires too, we have some new NXT hires. I don't know all the names, but we have some notable ones from Impact. We got Samuel Shaw, which obviously I guess that's a nice name, but because of TNA, I think anytime I see Samuel Shaw's like name now, I think of like his most recent gimmick that he had, where he was like stalking and like that stalker and stuff. So
yes, and it ended with him going into a truck off to an insane asylum.
And and then Jackson Riker like tried to fucking save him and all that, and yeah, it was weird.
It was a good storyline.
And then we have Trevor Lee.
Yeah,
I'm happy about.
That's a great signing.
Yeah, X Division champion.
ACH, which I'm happy about that.
ACH is amazing.
And I think those are the. Oh, and also Rachel Ellerman.
Big one, and about time. I feel like she truly deserves it.
It's a huge sense. Paul Ellering's daughter, the legendary manager.
Yeah, and I think that's I think those are all like the main names that, because there was obviously some other ones, but I didn't recognize them. So
I knew Karen Q from a little bit, but I don't know much about her.
But she's not Karen Q though. She's something else, I think, right? She's like
probably a real name.
Correct.
And then, but those are like the Karen Q was in the Mae Young Classics last year, and she's also wrestled in ROH.
Ring of Honor, yeah.
Yes, that's right. I like Ring of
Honor. Yeah, that's pretty much that. Now that we've covered all that stuff, we covered all the signees. We finally talked about the Undertaker thing, which I should be like ashamed for not waiting this long since I'm supposed to be like this big Undertaker fanboy and someone to talk about him. Now let's talk about the weekly WWE show. So no one's gonna start us off with Raw notes because he's taking somebody else's place because somebody else was supposed to be on but he couldn't make it. So Noah, why don't you kick us off with Raw? Say when it happened. The commentators, everything.
All right. So Monday Night Raw, it occurred on February 18th, 2019, and it was still your standard commentary team of Corey Graves, despite controversy recently, Michael Cole, and Renee Young. And that night's Raw started off in a very unique way with a Triple H promo talking about the results from Elimination Chamber, but also hopping up the road to WrestleMania and also talk about Fastlane. But he did not stop there. He also talked about another brand that's really on the up and up called, I run a little thing you might know called NXT. And I will vent about the crowd later. But anyway, to make a long story short, he introduces us to 4 of the top tier talents under the NXT brand that we get to see debut tonight on Monday Night Raw. His words: Aleister Black, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, and the one and only Ricochet. But before that, he immediately says all hell's about to break loose. But it pissed me off when he said the names. Braun Strowman versus Baron Corbin in a tables match. Whoop-de freaking do. Anyway, let me ask you, Owen, before I go any further. What were your thoughts on Triple H's opening promo?
It was awesome. Well, obviously, when he talked about NXT, it became awesome. It was just kind of like a standard Raw promo at first. And he also talked about Becky Lynch, because it's just kind of important. Mentions that it was very weird because he kind of played the heel part of it, but also played like the babyface part of it, where he said that, professionally, he said that if Becky Lynch ever does something like that again, she'll be like arrested and like fined or whatever.
Yep.
And then he says, and he also talked about DX going into the Hall of Fame.
Personally, what Becky did, it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that was awesome. He originally messed up the NXT brand promo part of it because I think he just was thinking so many stuff out loud. He just, I think, forgot to mention it was NXT at first because I remember he messed up at some point.
He messed up at the beginning.
Yeah. Yes. But it definitely intrigued me to want to watch the rest of Raw. And like I said, this would have been awesome had they not announced this earlier in the day. This segment would have been so much better.
The problem is social media and the internet, where nothing is hidden anymore, which is what I do everything possible to maintain #spoiler-free. But no, yes, I was aware of these.
I'm also, it wasn't even like it was the dirt sheets and stuff that did it too. They themselves did it. It was
them. It was freaking them. Why? Anyway.
Drum up interest.
Well, I mean, I guess Raw needs it because of the declining rates and viewership. Speaking of which, Chris, your thoughts on Triple H's opening promo and the setup to Raw, basically.
I loved it. It was a great segment. Fantastic segment. I loved it.
Now, I think we're all going to have different opinions once I talk about what was next, and I briefly just said it. So, Braun Strowman, Baron Corbin, tables match. Control-C, Control-V. Aha! Instead of a no DQ match, it was a friggin' tables match because what happened on Sunday, folks, Braun Strowman got squashed by Baron Corbin and a 44.0, Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. Basically, in this match, though, he gets his comeuppance, he wins, Baron Corbin gets driven through a table, and then at one point, Paul Heyman, he's coming out, and you think Braun Strowman, being this monster that he is, he would maybe drive Paul through a table. No, he just intimidates him, lets him go, and basically we get Paul Heyman promo hyping up Brock Lesnar. Even though later on, we got freaking video package. Let me speed ahead and talk about a little more about Raw, then we'll talk about what I talked about so far. Following this, we got a Finn Balor promo, basically talking about, he's Intercontinental Champion now, what he's going to do with that title, we'll see. But again, ladies and gentlemen, I don't care much about Raw. If you haven't realized it, I believe Blue. SmackDown Live's the better brand, the better show, better roster. Simple as that. That's my opinion. Triple H and Natalya backstage, which I thought was interesting, because I thought we were supposed to get Natalya versus Dana Brooke this week. Did it happen? No. So I guess that just got thrown away. Maybe they're holding it out as long as they did Naomi and freaking Mandy. Except it's not going to involve a hotel room this time. I don't know. And then we get Lucha House Party facing Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. The streak lives, guys! Guess what? Kurt Hawkins lost another match. What the fuck? All right, so before I go any further, Owen, what were your thoughts on everything up to this point?
Table's match was fine. The only question I have is why wasn't that on the pay-per-view? Made that match pointless.
Thank you.
But yeah, it was fine. It didn't really do anything for Braun, but it was fun to watch. And then the Paul Heyman promo and the Brock Lesnar video package, that was awesome because Paul Heyman's awesome and WWE does awesome video packages.
Yeah.
The Finn Balor promo I thought was good. I didn't write this down because it kind of tied in with the promo, but obviously the tag match when like Ricochet teamed up with him to face Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush. That match was good. I liked Ricochet in the match and he looked very impressive. And obviously they won. Finn Balor and Ricochet when Ricochet did the 630 to Lio Rush.
The highlight of the night, I'm sure, for everybody. The funny thing is, it's not even in the Raw notes here. Well,
I didn't put it. Like I said, I typically don't put it in because it tied in with the Finn Balor promo. So
gotcha.
And then, but I liked it. And then obviously, Lio Rush is just back with Lashley. I could complain about that, but I'm not really that upset about it because they shouldn't even be separated to begin with. So I'm all right with just pretending that Elimination Chamber didn't happen. So. And then what was after that, Natty? That was when Drew McIntyre came up and wanted the match with Seth because he doesn't think he deserves the championship match at WrestleMania. Yeah. Then Dean came up and slapped him. I thought that was a nice way to set up that match. And then it was the Lucha House Party. I actually like that match because it continues that Kurt Hawkins storyline, and I'm biased because, Kurt Hawkins is awesome and. I like the fact that the losing streak's continuing, and you don't need to end that right now. I think the best place to end that is having Hawkins and Ryder beat the Revival at WrestleMania for the Raw Tag titles. I'm just saying. I think that's the best. That's the best way you end that losing streak storyline. But anyhow, that's just. Did I miss anything? Or did I get it?
Up to this point, I think you're good. Chris, your thoughts so far up to this point on Monday Night Raw?
I thought Taylor's match sucked. I think we can all agree on that's one of the worst matches ever, especially with bland Baron Corbin. But,
what spot actually I didn't like was the when like Strowman picked up the step and caught Corbin with them. Like it just looked really bad. I don't know.
It didn't look like it should have been as effective. Yeah. Anyway, continue, Chris.
I love the Dean Ambrose segment.
Dean at his finest.
Fucking just comes up and slaps him right in the fucking face. I love it. That dude's got fucking testicles for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's slapping Drew McIntyre.
I still think he should be your next Universal Champion, but I digress. What were your thoughts on that tag match? Both.
That's all right.
All right, let's continue. So then we get Heavy Machinery interview, and we get the other NXT call-ups backstage, DIY, but they're met with Glorious Alpha, Bobby Roode, and Chad Gable, and they have a bit of a reunion, but also a bit of trash talking back and forth about who has done what so far between both shows. And then who comes out of the locker room, top guys with the friggin' dimes. Fucking hate those towels, by the way. Anyway, we get DIY coming out, and this sets up DIY versus the Revival, a callback to an incredible feud and number of matches back in NXT. But then, following that, we get Finn Balor and Ricochet backstage. They both hyping up each other, congratulating each other. It was great to tag with you. And then we get Ricochet talking about, this is the last you've seen of me on Monday Night Raw, because everyone's going to learn there's only one and only Ricochet. And then following this, we get typical real-life Kevin Owens, who basically says that he can't wait to bring back the Kevin Owens show. I guess he was in a theater with his kid, who I guess maybe screwed up $20. That was freaking funny.
That was hilarious.
I love Kevin Owens. Just this real. If he doesn't come back face, I will be bloody shocked. All right. He needs to come back to face after this. Okay. Nonchalant, simple face that just wants to fight. But yeah, following this, we get the new women's tag team champions. And I just say women because they're not branded by anything right now. They're not tied to any brand. The Boston Hug Connection, Sasha Banks and Bayley. And they talk about how they dreamed of this moment. They still can't believe it's real. And it doesn't matter where they go, SmackDown Live, NXT, or Raw, to defend these titles. We are going to make them the most prestigious and do incredible things with them. And you can bank on that. But then following that, we get Nia Jax and Tamina coming out. There's a bit of a scuffle, blah, blah, blah. Boston Hug, they stand tall. I could give 2 fucks less about Nia Jax and Tamina. But I love the fact they did say NXT because I would love to see these titles in NXT, not to mention the incredible tag team matches we would get out of Sasha Banks and Bayley against, like, Io Shirai or Kairi Sane. Or, heck, give me Millie McKenzie and Xia Brookside. If they can do NXT UK on U.S. soil, if they can somehow bring those teams to the fold too, that would be amazing. So let me stop here and let's talk about between the DIY backstage. No, between the Heavy Machinery segment and this Boston Hug celebration. What are your thoughts on all of this, Chris?
I thought that Heavy Machinery segment was weird. Didn't it include Lacey Evans too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did a bushwhacker thing
for no reason. Stupid. That backstage segment with the 3 tag teams. I hope that's a future match between those 3 at a pay-per-view.
Yes, I agree.
Incredible. But that tag team match that they had, outstanding.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on Ricochet's, saying he'll be back on Raw more and the Kevin Owens promo?
I can't wait. I love Ricochet. He's one of my favorites in the industry today, and I can't wait for Kevin Owens to come back.
Imagine that match, KO versus Ricochet.
That'd be incredible.
And what are your thoughts on the Boston Hug Women Tag Champs promo and proposed expectations they set for the titles?
It was horrible. I did not care one single bit for it. I don't want to see the feud against Nia Jax and Tamina because they're trash. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. Owen, your thoughts on, I think, what is probably right now most of the second hour of Monday Night Raw?
Yeah. So, Heavy Machinery interview, random, pointless, didn't like it. I don't know what's going on. DIY backstage segment, awesome. Like I said, I agree with Chris. I want to see a triple threat tag team match with all 3 teams. Revival versus DIY was awesome. And I do got to say, this is a response to James because he said some stupid things in the chat this week. They did reference that DIY were both champions. So
they made sure to announce it.
Yeah. They announced it. They came
out.
That's
what happens when you watch clips. They don't show the entrances.
Yeah. But that match was just awesome. And yeah, I really think they should do that match again in the future. Right team went over, obviously. The Ricochet promo was awesome. Apparently, too, I thought Raw was in Kentucky this week, too. I'm just going to say that. My geography is awful, so.
It's all right. That's all you need to remember, but that city's better off forgotten. What the fuck's wrong with this crowd? Not even thinking about NXT reacting to it. And then you got them dead as the doorknob during the freaking women tag team champs. Was this crowd half asleep? Did someone put them on something? Does this town even care about WWE? What the fuck?
Even when, I even say this too, when Triple H mentioned Becky Lynch's name, nothing. Like.
Yeah, dead as fucking crickets.
Yeah.
They did a great job of making a going crazy out there and Raw and Lafayette. Man, you could hardly tell they were wrestling in front of nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could have put them in front of a fucking empty arena and it would have been louder than that.
Yeah.
Yes, what up?
And then the Boston Hug Connection promo, didn't care about it.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask you this, because it seems like you both don't care about these titles at all. Do you feel like these titles should have never even been made?
Well, If they do, in a way, no, because I think we're just gonna like see the same matchups. It seems like every week with like Boston Hug Connection versus Samoan Slaughterhouse, and then the Iconics and stuff.
Hey, despite the Iconics, I believe they are credible tag champs, and I think the Iconics and Boston Hug have a good match. In my opinion, Iconics should have won the match. That's why I picked them. They're the only legitimate tag team, in my opinion, in WWE on the women's side, because they've been a tag team before even coming up to the main roster. But I digress.
I am happy though that they're also exclusive to NXT because I think they'll be booked awesome when they go to NXT.
And may this truly be a thing. May these titles be used on NXT.
And I hope this opens up the doors too for like them to unify some of like the main roster championships, like the tag team titles and stuff like that, and do the same thing. Have it go to all three brands. I think that'd be awesome.
In my opinion, the only titles that should be in WWE are as follows: the WWE Championship, one set of men tag team titles on each show, but different design. Get rid of the fucking dimes.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the single set of women. What's that, Chris?
I think they're changing it up soon.
I hope you're right.
The tag titles, they because the Revival posted a picture of the old WWF tag team titles,
and they look beautiful.
They're going in that style.
I hope so. I fucking hate the dimes. I'm just gonna say that.
Terrible.
Dimes on different color leather. Who the fuck cares? Every title in WWE feels so damn generic. The only ones that still feel different and they've been reduced to crap is the freaking Intercontinental title and US title.
Well, now the WWE title too, because of it's eco-friendly now too. So.
Well, yeah, that's true. I guess that's different. Fickle, but still. All right. So let's move on to pretty much the final hour here. So first off, Hall of Fame video package. Break it down, guys. DX, they're finally going to Hall of Fame. Chyna is finally getting her place. I'm very happy for her, and congrats to DX. We can talk about moments later.
Well, actually, no, only you can, because me and Chris did it the last episode. So, any favorite DX moments?
Oh, jeez. There are so many. From the DX bus blowing up to DX reunion where they slimed the Spirit Squad. There was the segment where Chyna's like, I'm the only real bitch in the ring, and she flashed the crowd during the Attitude Era. That was interesting. When Vince took over Raw one night production truck, they messed with Alejandro Estrada's promo and microphone. They messed with Vince's mic. They showed him off in the bathroom. They showed off Vince's former music video, Stand Back. That was freaking funny. Even when they intimidated the McMahons, that segment was hilarious. And then, let's see here. Fireworks out of Vince's limo. I could go on and on. DX has always been very entertaining to me, and I've always given some great matches, too. Yep. Single or together. Yeah. There's my spiel on that. Okay, so let's get through this Raw hour. So Dean Ambrose, Drew McIntyre. That match ended in 2 minutes. What the hell? Brock Lesnar video package, basically talking about the story of Brock Lesnar, the legend of him, and how Seth will basically be beaten, victimized, and conquered by Brock Lesnar. As if I haven't heard that 250,000 times already. But again, great video package. Seth Rollins interview talking about basically that video package and Paul Heyman's words. Dean coming out of nowhere. Did he get amnesia or something? He's like, why don't you out there helping me, man? This is the Dean I love, okay? This is the Dean we need. I hope Drew McIntyre freaking did give him amnesia. Or if they play that as a story. Hell, maybe we'll actually convince to stay.
A little thing about Dean Ambrose. Did you notice 2 things that were different about Dean Ambrose on Raw?
Well, I know there's no siren.
No siren. And his entrance when he was a babyface was when he was shadowboxing.
Yeah.
I kind of noticed that a little bit.
And I'll say this: whatever letter grade I give Raw is gonna go up because there's no more sirens. So. Yes.
I completely agree.
That threw me off when I didn't hear the sirens. I was like, "Holy shit!" So they actually are getting on babyface.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was when I noticed no sirens, I was like, "Holy crap! They really are doing it."
Yeah.
About damn time. Following that, we get Elias basic promo, but who comes out to interrupt him? Aleister Black. Shut the fuck up, Michael Cole. He's dark. He's moody. His arms and legs are lethal weapons. What the hell? And basically, we get NXT sweeping the night. This was a nice bout, I think, though, with Elias and Aleister Black. But I feel like all they've done here is buried their current roster, thus making you not even care even more about the current product. But that's just my opinion. And then following that, we get Control C, Control V. Aha! Ronda Rousey, Ruby Riott. At least it was longer than freaking 4 minutes. I'll give him credit. But nobody in their right minds knew that Ruby Riott was going to win. And thank God for the Riott Squad saving Ronda Rousey off that top rope maneuver. That could have ended so badly. Ronda, I feel like she's still frazzled by the crowd. I feel like she's still finding her place on the ropes. But nonetheless, Ronda Rousey won, and she still shows over as the dominant champion by taking out the rest of the Riott Squad. So once again, all of Riott Squad is buried. Ronda Rousey back to the skirt and light kabuki makeup. Kind of fucking hate that. And that was the end of Monday Night Raw. Okay. Owen, your thoughts on that final hour of Monday Night Raw?
Good final hour. Well, up until the last match. I have to switch to Messenger because my notes are different on Messenger than it is on the actual Google Doc.
Trust me, I know. I don't believe in dirt sheet reviews and all that nonsense. I take my own notes or I go off my own memory.
All right, so
you have. So basically starting with Dean Ambrose. Go from there.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't really know what to say about that because I don't know what's going on with Dean Ambrose really. So I'm actually if Ambrose is leaving, that's exactly what should be happening. McIntyre should be squashing him that quickly because
we never know.
I'm over.
Right.
No one knows what's going on.
Yeah.
No one knows anything that's going on right now. We don't even have most of WrestleMania built.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened. What hell?
Give it a fast lane.
I'm hoping I'm going to go see that live.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, continue.
Brock Lesnar video package was awesome because WWE knows how to make video packages.
But it's the same story. I'm getting tired of hearing the same story though over and over again. You can make something look visually pleasing, but if it's the exact same concept, you're going to end up not caring.
And then I liked the Seth Rollins interview, especially with the Dean bit. And Dean did not apologize, guys. Got to make sure. And Seth didn't forgive him. That didn't happen. So
none of that happened. Didn't look at that happen.
Yeah. I think he watched a different clip. I think he watched a different clip.
I don't know what clip he's watching.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Elias' performance, I liked that. I liked Aleister Black's debut and stuff. I would have had that be a squash though. I would have had Aleister Black just hit the Black Mass once, and then that would have been it. But
yeah, I agree.
The Ronda Rousey Ruby Riott match. What's going on? Why? I actually don't like the fact that the match was longer. Why is Ruby Riott putting up more of a fight here than at Elimination Chamber? What changed in the 24 hours?
Are they trying to rebuild her credibility? Because if this is their approach, it's not working. I have no idea. I'm so confused. I'm so hurt by how they're treating the Riott Squad. It disgusts me.
Shouldn't have main evented. Should have been
absolutely
something else.
Not.
Obviously we're sexist now, but and then another thing obviously I have a problem with is no Becky Lynch, which I guess Becky Lynch, but no Charlotte Flair at least. There should have been at least a Charlotte Flair appearance. So, yeah, that main event of Raw was just really random and just came out of nowhere, like an RKO, except it wasn't a good thing. So.
Yeah, exactly. RKO, no,
that's the end of my thoughts. I'll give my letter grade.
So
I thought Raw was a really good show. I gave it a B, but because there was no sirens, it goes up to a B+. It would have been an A- if the crowd had been more intrigued into it. So, yeah, B+.
All right, Chris, your overall thoughts on this last hour of Raw and your letter grade.
I love the Dean Ambrose bit. Thought that was hilarious. Even signs point to the Shield reuniting. They don't really give a fucking rat's ass about the main event. What did they think that we thought that Ruby Riott was gonna win? Did they really think that?
I guess so.
Really, really think that Ruby Riott had a chance. because she
No.
fucking didn't. And that wasn't even close to being worthy of being the main event. Not even remotely close.
No.
Anyway, I give it a B.
All right. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm glad they took out the sirens. NXT helped viewership. The audience was fucking dead. Didn't know shit, I think, about the product or anybody on the show. The main event, wrong spot, wrong match. I enjoyed all the NXT use, though. Blah, 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 blah. But it's Monday Night Raw. Continuity between the NXT character and stories versus what happened on Monday Night Raw, like two different worlds. Weird. Still kind of was not caring. Only rocked out because of NXT. B- for me.
All right. So we
And
all
speaking of Raw too, we also are getting a welcome guest on Monday.
Ah, yes, you are absolutely right. Nature Boy.
yeah.
Ric Flair.
It's good to see that Roman Reigns is going to be on Monday Night Raw.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that too. I was thinking ahead because I forgot they did talk about the Ric Flair birthday party thing. But you're right. Let's skip ahead. Yes, we are getting Roman Reigns on Monday Night Raw. Now, we got to talk about this. I'm sorry. We got to talk about this. How? Why? What the hell? All of a sudden. It's the road to WrestleMania. Vince demands Roman to not only be on Raw, he wants him to be at WrestleMania. Does Vince think he's fucking God? Does he really think Vince is 100% clear? What is this going to lead to? I'm baffled. I'm shocked. I'm also kind of happy, but I'm also kind of worried.
Yeah.
So I want to get more of a perspective on this from you guys beyond just chat. Owen, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on this out of nowhere Roman Reigns return?
Should have been a surprise. Just saying that right now, because now we lose that pop that's gonna come when Roman Reigns comes. I guess we're not allowed to have surprises anymore when it comes to us.
Although at the same time, though, ticket sales have gone up majorly.
I'm just but also too, it's really tough because I don't know like if he's ready to come back or not yet. So I'll just say very excited. Can't wait to see what he says on Monday Night Raw. And I hope he comes back as a babyface because Smox Win Wrestling, Facebook group's gonna have to. I think that post actually, if he comes back as a babyface, they should just take that whole group down. So, I think that would be awesome for the wrestling community. So, and then but yeah, I like the fact that Roman Reigns is coming back, and maybe he is gonna come back to wrestle because what move did Lashley, Corbin, and McIntyre do to Strowman at not Fastlane, Elimination Chamber.
The Shield Powerbomb.
So, yeah, I'm actually interested in that. And if Roman Reigns is clear to go and stuff, does this mean Dean Ambrose is going to stay? So, I'm very interested to see what happens with Roman Reigns. Now, one final rant I want to give on Raw before I end this review. We end, since we're still on that, because it does tie into SmackDown. It's a nitpick. But the fact that they had DIY team up because it just completely rushed their whole reunion storyline that they're doing in NXT. Because you watched NXT this week, Noah. It made the backstage segment they do on that show odd. So I think it was just really stupid. They should have at least told us if they were going to team up, they should have done something where they weren't really wanting to work together, but they did because they wanted to win.
Exactly.
So especially too, because now we don't know what's going to happen with that finish in NXT. Because I have a feeling they had something different planned in mind, but since they were caught up on the main roster, we don't know what's going to happen now. So
I just hope Triple H is pissed at all of this because, again, according to what I read, Triple H he had no idea about all this confusion. The only reason Vince even had these people on the show is apparently he asked somebody about, hey, who's the best guys in NXT? And why are they good? And apparently Vince's like, okay, get them on the show. Book them. And Triple H is like, what the hell, Vince? What are you doing? So, I mean, I hope this is some sort of, story development where Triple H is going to take over the company because, in my opinion, this just throws all Triple H's plans kind of out of whack, too. Because Triple H didn't agree to this. He didn't even know this.
Yeah.
But anyway, Chris, I'm sorry. We don't want to leave you out. What are your thoughts on Roman Reigns' return?
I love it. me being as Owen knows this, I'm a massive Roman Reigns fan.
Yeah.
I fucking love Roman Reigns, and it broke my heart once he had to step away due to real life circumstances. This isn't a fucking work. This is not a work. They wouldn't go that far.
I can't believe people actually even said that.
A fucking person who could legitimately die from this fucking disease, and they think that's a work. It's pathetic.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see him on Raw this Monday. I'm excited to see what he's gonna say. I think it's his personal trainer that he's been working with said that he's about a few months away from fully returning. But I wonder if his announcement on Raw is that he beat leukemia and that he's coming back in a few months or whatever.
Well, the thing is, Vince demands, keyword demands, Roman Reigns to return and participate at WrestleMania. And Owen, based on that continuity that you talked about, Elimination Chamber, I feel like, especially with Dean Ambrose, and like he has amnesia. And according to what I read, sorry, gentlemen, you probably read the same thing I did. Apparently, Seth versus Brock is as cold as ice. Maybe they're actually trying to build a 3-on-3 match. Maybe even as soon as Fastlane. I highly doubt it, but this is Vince McMahon. You know he'll try and do any damn thing. Maybe they're trying to build
I read a 6-man tag match at Mania.
Yeah, they're trying to build, I think,
Corbin's
Shield Union
crew,
versus Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre, and Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
But I hope that's not the case because you're going to have Seth compete 2 matches in one night. You're going to further bury Drew. You're going to further just give us pointless crap with Baron Corbin, who's probably going to wrestle in business wear, knowing him, because, jeans don't exist anymore, I guess. I don't fucking know.
That's not, yeah.
And you're going to have Roman, who may not be fully recovered because you're not God, wrestle at WrestleMania just because, 1, you're in a panic, 2, you haven't built no other stars, and 3, you have no other ideas for anything. It seems rushed, it seems ridiculous, and I just hope this is for all the right reasons and works out. But I'm very curious to next week, Monday, because of this alone.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the end of Monday night. Let's move on to Tuesday.
Oh,
All right, this is SmackDown. Chris, you better have those notes ready.
Oh, you get. Oh. You think I wouldn't have the notes ready? You thinking that me wouldn't have the notes ready?
Yeah, past history shows that you wouldn't. So.
This episode of the Rundown brought to you by Bleacher Report, where we will now go to Bleacher Report for the SmackDown.
my personal note thing. Yes. That's where I get my notes from.
That's fine. That's fine. Hey, if you want to avoid copyright infringement, you got to endorse them. So there you go.
Yep.
All right, go ahead, Chris. Let's do this.
So SmackDown. Coming off on the heels of Elimination Chamber, where Daniel Bryan obviously retained his WWE championship. The Miz wanted to apologize to Shane to open the show up, and Shane came out announcing that the NXT superstars who appeared on Raw also were going to appear on SmackDown, which, unlike in Lafayette, Louisiana, the night before, got a huge pop.
Yeah. Well, they were also in the same building as NXT Takeover New Orleans too, so that helps.
Yes. And that crowd knows NXT.
Yeah, which was deserving, 100% deserving.
Yeah.
Right. So the Miz comes out, he interrupts Shane, and he apologizes, saying that he used him, which is weird. Like, really, really weird.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair,
the babyface.
Yeah, but again, he's a natural heel, so it actually does make sense.
But he sounded remorseful though, which is different from any of his past characters.
True.
Yeah.
He apologized, and basically, he says that even though the rematch clause is gone, automatic rematch clauses are gone, he wants a rematch for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. And his dad's going to be at ringside because Fastlane's going to be in Cleveland. And obviously, why the fuck wouldn't the Miz's dad be there? Because it's in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Jimmy and Jay proceed to interrupt them, and they start shitting all over Miz, and then Shane comes to his defense, and he books the match for 2 weeks at Fastlane, which gets thunderous boos from the crowd in attendance in Louisiana.
You mean New Orleans?
New Orleans, Louisiana.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
The opening segment. What do you guys think of it?
Fine. I mean, not a fan of this. I'm happy that like this storyline's gonna go away probably after Fastlane. So I think everyone's happy about that. So, and it's gonna lead to that Mania match that just has to happen, where the Miz will go back to his heel run against Shane McMahon when it should be babyface The Miz versus the new Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. But I digress. Yeah, it was just I didn't really care for it. It was just boring to me. So I didn't like it.
Well, great. I get to see Usos versus Shane and Miz live on my first ever WWE pay-per-view. I'm so excited. Great. We're getting the same match over again. This time it probably will be the same result because, Owen, you probably nailed it right on the head. Shane McMahon's got to get his WrestleMania match in, part of his contract. And, of course, Miz, he may finally turn heel. But I still say we should have got the new Dan Bryan versus Miz this year at WrestleMania. But I digress. Only segment, though, it was dragged out. It felt totally copy and paste, mostly like Triple H did when he talked about the same NXT people from last night being in action again on SmackDown Live tonight. Miz dragged out that apology forever, and then the Usos came out, criticized him, don't be a bully, be a star, blah, blah, blah. That got thrown out the window, and Shane makes the match official. Whoopie-doo, dull start, here we go again.
So the first match on tap for tonight, which was a callback to NXT, Aleister Black versus Andrade. Not Cien Almas, that person doesn't exist anymore.
Yes, he does! Yes, he freaking does! Fuck WWE mentality and first name curse. His name is Andrade Cien Almas.
Doesn't exist anymore. He got wiped out of history.
Yeah, apparently.
This match was awesome. This is a very, very good matchup. Could have gone like a little bit longer. If it would have been a lot different if it was in NXT. But it was a fantastic match.
I agree with that. I think it's kind of funny because Zelina Vega's Aleister Black's husband, so it's funny that like she's like trying to screw him over out of the match and everything. And it's supposed to like I think Aleister Black needs to file for domestic violence right there because he's putting his hands on him, trying to cost him a wrestling match right there, and he can't do anything about it. So Aleister Black wins, which I guess Zelina Vega is not a very supportive wife because she was all mad when he won. So Zelina Vega's life would entered a crossroads right there because she either had to support Andrade. I almost said the other name, but you can't do that. So
I'm going to because fuck WWE first name mentality. Andrade Cien Almas and Aleister Black, incredible match.
No, it doesn't exist anymore.
Shut up, he does. A callback to an NXT Takeover classic. This should have gone longer, but again, this is SmackDown Live. You gotta play a commercial for Christy Knows Best and Arby's and Sir Mix-a-Lot Now sponsors freaking Pizza Hut and freaking Temptation Island. Fuck TV, by the way. But yeah, and you gotta remember, Concept Professional, she is the manager for Andrade Cien Almas. So, like I said, I'm sure backstage it was mutual, it was normal, but this was a great match overall. It was definitely better than Aleister Black's Monday night showing. Poor Elias. Yeah. And once again, Andrade Cien Almas on the losing end, but he looks strong and great over in defeat. I'm just hoping that he gets a major push this year. And personally, I don't want to see Aleister Black called up yet. Because, here's my biggest fear. There's rumor that Charlotte is dating Andrade Cien Almas. And then you have the married couple of Zelina Vega and Aleister Black. Knowing Vince McMahon, he could turn this into a freaking love story. And that could culminate in a pointless, dumb, poorly played out mixed match challenge match. It could be shades of freaking Lana, Summer Rae, Rusev, and Dolph Ziggler. God help us.
You know what? Then maybe Aleister Black should stay in NXT a little longer then, so that way he can avoid that storyline.
That
You gotta
storyline
remember.
will get there eventually, probably.
Yeah, but hopefully it'll be after Vince is gone or freaking steps down or is stuck in the XFL because Vince don't know shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, incredible match.
I
Chris,
love that Black mass he hits.
I love that.
Yeah.
That was sick.
That kick out of nowhere.
I used to hate kick finishers. I thought they were the stupidest. But like over the years, I've grown to really love it
Especially when they're done properly.
The Hideo Itami finisher, that running kick, I thought that was the stupidest move ever.
Yeah.
Like, that's the match, not the GTS, a stupid running kick.
Oh, running basement drop kick.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
The Black Mass really like changed my like narrative about it. I fucking love that move.
Well, what's the difference between a black? So you hated the Sweet Chin music then?
Yes.
Okay.
Whoa, really? Did you not see that one where he hit Shelton Benjamin out midair?
That's different from like, I don't mind that as like a standing finisher, whereas like like Hideo Itami's running kick, like that, it looked like more of like a signature than a finisher.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. Blurring the line between signature and a finisher. Okay, I get that. All right, Chris, what happened next?
We had DIY versus the Bar after.
Nope, we didn't have that next.
What was next then? If you
DIY was backstage, and they were like impressed.
I was gonna say that.
Oh,
you're just doing it a little bit out of order. Continue, Chris.
Yeah, thanks, Bleacher Report. You're the best. But they were backstage, and basically Cesaro and Sheamus came up to them instead of laughing. I don't know why. I don't know what was so funny. Like, I don't know why they just came up randomly laughing. I don't know. Did Sheamus fart and waft it towards them or something? Like what? What was so funny?
I don't know.
And there goes their credibility. Continue.
And they fucking and that set off a match, which would happen next, which was DIY versus the Bar.
Nope, you missed something else.
No, I didn't. I didn't miss anything.
Jeff Hardy's backstage segment with the Faces, where they said they're gonna work together as a team.
Oh, the pancake olive branch.
Yeah, that was funny.
An awkward commercial break, and then they came back to this.
Yes.
Which was like uncomfortable. But this match was fantastic. It's just the one little nitpick was the botch that they had.
Yeah.
But other than that, it looked fucking scary as hell.
Yeah. Because that was the same.
Like Ciampa like grabbed that like injured knee that the knee that they tore his ACL on like almost instantly.
Yeah.
It just looked really bad, but luckily they're both okay. They're both fine.
Yeah.
But other than that, this match, like, I would want to see this match again. This match was awesome.
Yeah, I agree with that. The only thing that was stupid is why were they fined for that boss? It makes bosses happen. They shouldn't be fined for that. Like,
because Vince is petty as shit.
No, what's your thoughts on other stuff? The DIY backstage segment, the Jeff Hardy backstage segment, and the tag team match.
Okay, DIY backstage segment. DIY, always enjoy them. Still confused by this continuity about how they seem like their faces and seem to be on the same page now versus the NXT storyline, but I digress because Vince don't know shit.
A lot of Bar in the coming months, by the way. I know what happens. I'm just going to leave it at that. A lot of shit happens.
Spoiler free. Let me vent when it actually naturally happens and I naturally find out. Thank you very much, my friend. Anyway, Bar, I was really expecting them to take them more seriously because I always respected the Bar as a serious tag team. You already know I enjoy Sheamus. I feel like he deserves a single push. He should be in a championship picture. He hasn't dealt with the main championship picture since that fatal four-way back on Raw after freaking WrestleMania 32. Pisses me off. And he and Sheamus had that best of 7 series. But this team right now just feels points to me. I feel like I should break up. The way that they treated and looked at DIY backstage in that segment was absolutely stupid. And it made me truly believe that they didn't really have a chance in this match. However, I saw the match and it was good. But before that, we get, Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles, and Yeah, the other guy. Freaking backstage segment with Kofi Kingston. Yeah, Kofi, the New Day. Kofi Kingston. I was like, no, Kofi, no. You were just got your bright, shining, single push, realistic moment. People were taking you seriously. Don't go back to the fucking pancakes thing. Pancake, olive branch, what the fuck? And I'm like, great, this is great. Okay, I don't believe in you anymore, Kofi. I don't even care anymore if you go after the title anymore. You lost me. Okay, have fun the New Day. Bye, see ya. Okay, so I kind of saw who was going to win tonight's main event, but we'll get to that later.
I do have another rant too. Why is it considered an upset that DIY beat the Bar? Because
because
DIY was like a No, don't even say because they were an NXT tag team. DIY was a tag team longer than the Bar ever was. And they even said that about the Aleister Black Andrade match. What was different between this Andrade than the Andrade that wrestled Aleister Black in NXT?
The Almas, that's the difference.
No, because NXT doesn't exist on the main roster because Vince doesn't know it exists. So it's all first here. You have to remember that. Vince don't know shit. Simple as that. Yeah, that botch spot.
Who the hell is that?
Get me started. Anyway, that botch spot was extremely scary. Good match overall. I thought it was weird at first how both Ciampa and Gargano's title was sitting in their corner for the first half of the match. I feel like that was going to come into play, probably going to be used by the Bar, because obviously the Bar is being portrayed as heels in this match. DIY is pretty much being portrayed as
clear
face.
Clear as day. They couldn't have made it any more obvious.
By the way, too, I bet I know this is going to tie into my NXT review, but I bet Johnny Gargano had to go ask Velveteen Dream, hey, I need that. I need that title. I'm still technically champion.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because guess what? There was no side plates on his title. It was generic. That wasn't even the real damn thing. But anyway, yeah, you're absolutely correct. It probably was like a $2,000 Elite one that isn't even on sale yet. I don't know. But yeah, great match. Scary bot spot. Sorry, Kofi, you lost me. I enjoyed it. I would like to see these two again in a more serious, pre-built promo capacity where continuity exists and DIY are actually face. But anyway, at this point, I feel like the Bar should just break up. Moving on. Chris, what happened next?
Moving on, Chris.
So, Kayla Braxton's in the ring with the ghost known as Asuka. Her first time being on SmackDown in, what, a month? It has to be a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, she hasn't been on since friggin' TLC.
Yeah.
It has to be.
No, this is the first time she's been seen since she tapped out Becky Lynch at the Rumble. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right.
3 weeks roughly, I think.
Yeah.
3 or 4 weeks roughly, but
yeah.
Before she could even say anything, out comes Mandy Rose.
Well, I did like that Kayla Braxton asked the question if Asuka feels lost in the shuffle, and Asuka says no. Like Asuka should that didn't feel believable though. Asuka should have said yes.
100% yes.
Yeah.
Damn right.
But, fucking Mandy wins.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
What a way to build up your fucking champion. She looks like a goof because she falls for the fucking fake knee, injury.
Yeah.
And she throws her throat first into the ropes, which was an awkward pinfall because she should have thrown her into the ropes and then pinned her, not throw her to the ropes, spun around and then pinned her. But stupid, dumb. If this is the WrestleMania match, I am fucking not watching it.
No, I got an even better rant. So in this match, Lacey Evans comes out and it distracts Asuka, and Mandy Rose tries to get the roll up then, and Asuka kicks out. Why wasn't that the finish? That would have made more sense. That would have made
more sense, but then she did like a fucking pirouette.
Yeah.
After she fucking threw into the ropes.
Yeah, so it's like everything about this sucked. I don't think that's the WrestleMania. At least because Lacey Evans feels random, but at least if she had cost Asuka this match, it wouldn't have felt as random. You could have had Mandy Rose win this match.
I think Noah's dead.
Yeah. Did he freeze? No, he didn't. He smiled.
He's dead.
What the fuck did I just witness? Mandy Rose pinned Asuka in a roll-up, clean finish after faking an injury. It did involve Sonya Deville punching her. It did involve Lacey Evans distracting her. And now I might see Mandy Rose versus Asuka at fucking Fastlane for the title? Are you shitting me?
I will.
Has
I
Vince
will
been sleeping
laugh
with her?
hysterically.
How the fuck this happened? Let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. It should be the fucking Iconics versus her, or Peyton Royce versus her, or hell, make it a triple threat. Freaking Sonya Deville's more credible than Mandy Rose. Give me Sonya Deville versus Mandy Rose versus fucking Asuka at Fastlane. Hell, make Lacey Evans seem credible. Give me a promo next week where Lacey Evans calls out freaking Asuka, and they have a match. What the fuck?
I agree with
Noah's,
that.
yeah.
No, 150%. Shit. That's what that was. Shit,
Yeah.
shit upon shit.
Yeah.
Shit. That's all I'm gonna say. Shit.
And where the fuck is Nikki Cross? The most credible opponent to Asuka's title reign right now, more than anybody.
Yeah.
Literally. Like, she can match like Asuka's craziness.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, they have Mandy Rose. I mean, Mandy Rose has improved. Okay, fine. But if that's the match at WrestleMania, I'm leaving the goddamn room. I'm taking a piss. I'm going to fucking get a drink. I don't know. I'm not fucking watching that match.
The match at WrestleMania needs to go one of two ways. You give me Asuka versus Nikki, or you give me freaking Asuka versus Sonya versus Mandy, because I feel like they're going to push Mandy. Oh, you know what? No, let me give you a third continuity. Somehow, because she hasn't even had a match yet, you want to try something crazy and maybe just give Asuka a squash. Give me freaking Asuka versus freaking Lacey Evans. Have her try and knock her out. Go for a quick pinfall. Asuka kicks out. Asuka beats the daylights out of her. Asuka wins. There are so many other better possibilities than fucking Asuka versus Mandy Rose. And I truly feel like that's what they're going to give us at Fastlane. God help us.
Yeah. Well, she is God's greatest creation, though, so he's not going to help.
No, she's not.
She is God's greatest creation.
God, we can ask God for help all we want, but he created, it's his greatest creation. So God's
get rid of the fucking porno music and the Vaseline camera. God, she's not a diva. I thought divas was dead. They're supposed to be superstars. They don't pose for Playboy.
I wish she did.
I know. I'd be looking for we'd be ending this video right now, and we'd all be looking for those photos if she did.
No, I know No DQ would post it firsthand because No DQ posts swimsuit pics all the time, but I digress. Moving
on. We got the SmackDown Live debut of Ricochet.
No, we didn't.
That
wasn't next. Young. That was not next.
Freaking please don't post anything. Okay.
It was Charlotte. It was the Charlotte Flair backstage segment.
I already forgot that existed.
I love the look of her left arm, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she was just standing there.
Yeah, and she talked about how how Becky Lynch blew her opportunity, how she's the main event no matter what place on the card she is.
That made me laugh hysterically because she said she's the main event no matter where she is. So if she's the kickoff, if she's the first match on the pre-show, is she the main event of WrestleMania?
Yeah.
No, you're the kickoff.
Well, here's the thing: you're never going to see Charlotte on the kickoff show because Vince McMahon would never do that.
Yeah.
So if Charlotte Flair, if that match is the opener at WrestleMania, the first match on the show, that's the main event.
Pretty much.
Not Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar, which is the actual main event.
Well, Chris, you got to remember, at No Mercy, they called AJ Styles versus John Cena versus Dean Ambrose the main event that was opening the show. They literally said that in the pre-show, the main event that's kicking off the show for a change.
And they haven't done that since. The WWE Championship has not opened a show since.
No. That was a disgrace to that championship. That should not. I get you would want. I know why they did that because they were trying to go against the presidential election. You don't put the IC title match first, not the frickin' WWE title match first. That was a joke.
And the IC title was more credible back then too. That was how I missed.
Yeah. Anyhow, Chris, continue with the Smack because the Miz backstage segment was just him announcing that his dad's going to be there. You've already addressed that, so.
And you already talked about Charlotte, so now you can talk about Ricochet versus.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, they exist. Continue.
Eric Young.
Yeah.
Wow, forgot he was even on the main roster.
Did they even get an entrance?
Could have fucking fooled me.
Yeah. They got, you could say they got the jobber entrance too. They got like the entrance like shown on the side
on fucking TV though.
Yeah. No, that's
Definitely.
still a jobber entrance.
Yeah,
That's-
the one you don't actually see on TV, but I saw live in a dark match.
yeah.
Basically, Ricochet wins at the 6:30.
Yeah. I did like the that uppercut that like that springboard uppercut that he does. I love
Yeah.
that. It's awesome.
Ricochet's awesome.
Yeah.
There's really no words to describe Ricochet besides the one and only.
Now that he's debuted though, don't have him do the 6:30 every week because on NXT,
they will.
yeah, on NXT he doesn't do it every week. And you could say that's stupid. No, that saves the move for like an important match.
It also makes him seem more organic because he doesn't rely on that to win matches. Think about how he won against Adam Cole, baby. That was a very unique finish.
Yes.
But yeah, Eric Young squash, Sandy doesn't matter. Alexander Wolf, screaming things in German. I don't know what the fuck he was saying.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah.
I liked it though. I liked Ricochet's debut. So.
Yeah, but I'm sick and tired of how Sandy's being treated. Go to NXT UK. Anyway.
Well, I don't think they can because Eric Young is there. So.
Only Larkin can.
Well, because that's an NXT versus NXT UK match.
And send Eric Young back to NXT because what the fuck is he doing? But anyway, moving on.
Didn't they show backstage like the Samoa Joe and his group or whatever?
Yeah, but that didn't really. You couldn't hear them because like Tom Phillips, Corey Graves, and Byron Saxton wouldn't shut up. So
Yeah, talking nonsense.
They were like laughing at each other for some reason. I don't know
Yeah.
why. Whereas,
Real
like,
heels. Real heels.
Joe and Randy are suddenly like best friends now. The way they're fucking talking to each other.
Randy and who?
Randy and Samoa Joe.
I wonder if Randy Orton shook any of their hands.
Oh, I hope not.
Oh, Bruce Prichard's gonna get his hand shaken this week.
Oh gosh.
Better watch out with Randy Orton, or he likes to fucking touch his junk and fucking shake people's hands.
Bruce Prichard better not go to SmackDown this week. You better stay. You better stay home.
Right to censor. Right to censor.
No, okay.
The main event. The last match.
A barn burner of a match between Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles, and Kofi Kingston versus Samoa Joe, Randy Orton, and the vegan heavyweight champion Daniel Bryan.
The new Daniel Bryan.
The new Daniel Bryan.
Yes, not the nude, the new Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
This match was amazing.
Yeah.
It was usually SmackDown. They say SmackDown for the really good matches.
Yes.
Yes.
Like this match had a lot of time.
Yeah.
They could get all their shit in. It was just a fantastic way to close the show. Really,
a lot of great spots. Everyone had their greatest hits. The crowd was organic and reacted to everything. And I like how the new Daniel Bryan came out. Because remember, one other thing, we were supposed to learn who was going to face the new Daniel Bryan next for the WWE Championship. And he immediately comes out and says, there will be none of these men in the ring. But we all learned what happened after the result. Oh, by the way, before the match started, there was a backstage segment in gorilla position where Kofi Kingston was being interviewed, and everyone was chanting Kofi, and it was about Kofi, and all this hype, and how close he was to the title, and all that stuff, and how it was like 11 years in the making, and then we learn officially Big E organically does that intro every time.
Yeah.
I thought it was in the can every time, but I guess not.
I did like to how they mentioned how Kofi Kingston's been around longer than everything, and they mentioned that Empire joke, how there was like that actor that like caused himself to get like jumped and stuff like that. So I don't know. I thought that was nice. And how he mentioned Kofi Kingston's career has been around longer than Instagram, which that's really not saying much because half the roster has been around longer than Instagram. So
yeah, right. But how many of them are around right now? I mean, when you think about it. Also, nice cheap shot against Fox. Way to go, WWE. You know you're moving there, right?
Yeah.
I thought I forgot.
But yeah, and then following this match, Chris, what happened?
At Fastlane, the show that you're going to, Noah, you're going to get Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship.
No, he's not going to get that.
To be a barn burner.
He's not going to get that match. He's going to get Kofi Kingston versus the new, because that's the old.
It's the fucking same person.
You gotta get it right, Chris.
It's the same person.
Even the announcers and the commentators keep saying the new Daniel Bryan. Now, does his graphic say the new Daniel Bryan? I haven't seen his graphic yet.
I'll let you know next week.
Okay.
Greg Hamilton says the new Daniel Bryan, though. Everybody says it. Because it's not. It's the new Daniel. This
It's the same
Daniel
fucking
Bryan.
person as he was last week. He's not new every week.
Well, apparently he is, because they keep saying it. So
The new Daniel Bryan, new since freaking Survivor Series 2018. Oh, jeez. And beforehand, too, actually.
but anyhow, yeah. Noah, thoughts on the main event and letter grade for SmackDown?
I love the main event. I mean, again, you had all the great spots. All 6 men looked very strong in this match. And I kind of saw the outcome playing out because, again, after that hot run for Kofi Kingston in the Elimination Chamber against the new Daniel Bryan, even in defeat, he got a standing ovation, went over with the audience. Everyone believes now more in Kofi. Everyone's on the Kofi bandwagon. So you had to imagine Kofi was going to win this match, or his team was going to. What was more effective is he picked up the pinfall on the new Daniel Bryan, which means he automatically got picked to face the new Daniel Bryan at, yes, I'm going to see it live, at Fastlane for the WWE Championship. Now, with freaking WrestleMania still up in the air at this point, and rumor names to face the new Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania, including but not limited to Luke Harper, Bray Wyatt, even Kevin Owens. I don't see Kobe winning, and I'll say that my prediction right now. Love the main event. I enjoyed the show, except what the fuck with Asuka, Mandy, and Vince's affiliation with blondes, and I don't know, and porno music and Vaseline. But the show was a freaking A- for me.
Hey, Chris, thoughts on the main event and not the show, the main event of SmackDown, and letter grade for SmackDown.
The main event was outstanding. 6 of WWE's best. You got some all-time greats in this match, and Kofi Kingston and Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy. But it's 6 of SmackDown's best. Overall, it's a B+ show.
Okay. Yeah, great main event. I think SmackDown also was an A-. The only thing I really didn't care for was the Mandy Rose thing. Everything else I thought was good to great on this show. So yeah, that was SmackDown this week. Now Noah's gonna help us break down 205 Live.
All right, so 205 Live.
And also, we should say this too. Cheap plug. Pretty much, you're just gonna get the 205 Live Matters show from this week with Chris included this time. So.
No DQ. Yeah, hashtag 205 Live Matters. All right, so let me give a quick rundown for y'all here because me and Owen basically covered it. And Chris, you said you didn't watch 205 Live, so we'll just get your analytical input. So it starts off with a recap from the incredible championship match that they had at the Elimination Chamber between Akira Tozawa and Buddy Murphy, and how Buddy Murphy won. I thought it was a great match. Didn't belong on kickoff. The freaking interruption with the stupid interview about Kobe King the game Mustache by Syrup was fucking ridiculous. But I digress. And basically, he talks about literally the setup to Buddy Murphy's next opponent for his title, not at Fastlane, at WrestleMania. And it took the same approach as last year, except half the participants. An 8-person single elimination tournament, where tonight it's all about making a case with the 2 matches we got booked for tonight's show. The book matches was Humberto Carrillo versus TJP, an experienced, dangerous submission game in TJP versus a guy that's taking the brand by storm. And the main event was Mike Kanellis, who's been on a downward spiral, losing to D. Brian Kendrick and Kalisto, but apparently, according to Drake Maverick, put up a strong showing, looked strong over in defeat, and Maria keeps putting up the point. Every loss is a step closer to success, because everywhere they've been successful. And Cedric Alexander, what more can you say? Former Cruiserweight champion, the winner of last year's tournament, one of the best in the 205 Live roster, and that was our opener. So I don't think I really need to ask you much about the opener, Owen or Chris, because basically that just illustrates what freaking is going to happen tonight. Yeah. So we go straight into the show. It is Humberto Carrillo versus TJP. TJP with a different look. He seems more, carefree, and he got more tattoos like we talked about. I feel like he was coming out with almost a Dolph Ziggler type feel and persona. The only thing he was missing was a freaking record scratch from his music, in my opinion. But I digress. Anyway, Humberto Carrillo and TJP, they had a nice back and forth, but another story came into play here when Drew Gulak, one of my favorites, for a better 205 Live, comes out with Jack Gallagher, and they basically come out to literally watch, peer view, mentor, and coach, really, Humberto Carrillo, which leads Humberto Carrillo for the win. There was some great spots here with Humberto Carrillo pulling off some great aerial maneuvers like a deep arm drag and flying over the top rope. But TJP, he got a lot of unique submissions in there. He did, at one point, an arm wrench, almost attempted to break the arm of Humberto Carrillo, shades of Pentagon Dark, Ciro Nieto. And yeah, there was a lot of good stuff here. Scissors lock, TJP, of course, being the heel, he mocked the fans. He was doing a lot of body manipulation with some abdominal stretches and stuff. But in the end, Humberto Carrillo, he gets the win with, I guess, what they call a head salt, where he literally just springboard off the top rope on the other side of the ring and pins TJP for the win. And afterwards, Drew Gulak says, "You have so much potential, young lion, cruiserweight. How about the Carrillo, everybody?" He applauds him, and he basically gets put up on Jack Gallagher and Drew Gulak's shoulders. Basically, Humberto Carrillo is confused, but he's also into this because, he's being over and stuff like that. He likes this. He doesn't really know where he stands with this, but he's okay with this. I thought it was a good opening bout. I kind of already figured who was going to win this. And, hey, we saw what it led to. TJP officially being released. Chris, based on everything I just said so far, what are your thoughts on this tournament and this match?
I like the idea of announcing a cruiserweight title match ahead of WrestleMania and setting up a tournament. I like that idea. It's pretty cool. As far as the match goes, sounds like a really good match. Actually, I might have to go watch it.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on Drew Gulak and Humberto Carrillo basically building there?
I think that's probably going to be a match, maybe at WrestleMania. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe for 205 Live. But the way they're building it up seems like that's more of the next rivalry that's going to happen.
Yeah, I completely agree on that standpoint. Owen, I know we already talked about it kind of, but hey, give your brief announcement.
Yeah, I really like this. Well, now obviously I got new thoughts, obviously, because of the TJP stuff. What you just said when TJP came out carefree, that might not have been a gimmick. That might have been reality. So, we don't know that. But yeah, obviously I really like this match. I like, the high-flying spots that Humberto Carrillo was hitting. I made the suggestion of having TJP join Gulak and Gallagher's, stable on, 205, why 205 Live matters, but that's not going to happen now. So basically all the thoughts that I had from Tuesday means nothing on this show. So they're obsolete. But yeah, I really liked the match. I obviously thought it was funny that, Gulak and Gallagher are supposed to be anti-flies, and when Humberto Carrillo did his dive through the ropes, they were chanting for him and stuff. It's like, what are you doing? But yeah, obviously you saw too Humberto Carrillo. I think it's kind of playing along. It looks like he's gonna join with this group, but he's probably not going to. They're probably gonna tell him to tone down his offense, but Humberto Carrillo's yeah, I don't want to tone down my offense because it helps me win matches, and obviously, if your offense helps you win matches, you're not going to stop doing it unless you're unless it's going to injure you forever. So I can't think of a wrestler. So, but yeah, I really like the match. So, and I'm really interested in the tournament too, which obviously at the end of the video we'll mention wrestlers that we want in the tournament, like we did it for 205 Live Matters.
And then we'll tell the ones actually announced for the tournament after that. We'll see if Chris can actually guess them.
Yeah, well, yeah. When you get to that segment, see if Chris can guess the matches before you say what they are. But also, we know and you better not look it up on your phone because we'll know.
You cheater! All right, so moving on, we get some we get some promo for this interview segment, starting with Tony Nese. Tony Nese states that how he proved he was the better man against Noam Dar, and 205 Live is his for the taking. It's just a matter of believing in himself. And he got through that mental block in his head, just like how he drove his knee through Noam Dar's head when he did the running knee through the timekeep area, through the barricade against Noam Dar. I saw that match live. And he promises to win this tournament and become the champion at WrestleMania. And then following this, we'll go straight into the other one. I'll get your thoughts on both. Mike Maria Kanellis, once and again, backstage. Mike prepping for his match tonight in the main event. Maria just watching. Kayla Braxton comes in, though, and poses the question, was it wise for him to challenge someone as experienced as Cedric Alexander based on his recent outcomes. Maria takes over and basically says, "Do you think my husband has been successful by taking the easy way out and not taking on the tough competitors?" At first, Kayla, she doesn't respond because she thinks it's rhetorical. So Maria immediately replies, "That's a question, Kayla." So she reiterates, and Kayla says no. And of course, they're on the same page now. So Maria basically says that. And basically, once Mike takes out Cedric, the pride of 205 Live, he will prove why he is the most dangerous man here. So, what were your thoughts, Chris, on both of these promos?
They're really good. They're very, very good.
All right, simple enough. And then, Owen, any other thoughts you have?
I really like the Tony Nese one. I thought it was awesome. He's built. It obviously makes sense everything he said since had that awesome no DQ match with Noam Dar, and I obviously too really liked the the Kanellis' one. I kind of like how when anytime Mike Kanellis is gonna get interviewed, Maria Kanellis takes over because it references that she used to be like an interviewer when she first started out in the wrestling business.
Correct. So. Yeah. All right. So following this, we once again get DX video package. Congrats again to DX on the Hall of Fame induction. And then we get, I called it, Arya Daivari in a squash match against someone called Johnny Lyons. Arya Daivari, he gets cheap heat, though, by talking about how, hey, I'm going to my company Super Bowl, unlike your New England Saints. So, of course, that's cheap heat from the crowd. He basically squashes this kid in a matter of minutes. The only offense this Johnny Lyons got in, and he did get a chance, by the way, was basically a drop kick. And then Daivari, he drops him with step-up kick. And then basically he ends him with a hammerlock lariat and a variation of the $1 Million Dream, a Cobra Clutch. And that was it. Arya Daivari wins. Following that, let me just go into this real quick. Buddy Murphy, he then strikes a promo about the tournament and how he really gives props to Drake Maverick on coming up with this idea, trying to give him the best competition possible. What I really liked about this promo, though, he runs down his history as Cruiserweight Champion, which really validates his credibility as the champ, not only his stand on the brand, but also just how serious you should take him. He talks about how he's been given all the challenges and got through them all. Took down Mustafa Ali at Survivor Series, left Ali heartbroken. Took down Cedric Alexander at TLC, the Age of Alexander came crashing down. And then he took on the leader of the Luchadors, a striker, one of the best strikers, and cheap shot, by the way, to Neville, a.k.a. Pac, how he dethroned the guy that dethroned the king of the cruiserweights. And then Elimination Chamber, he had his hand held high, even though Akil Dazar, he gave him a strong showing. So it sounds like he and him talked about this tournament, and they came up with this idea about this 8-man tournament. And now we get to find out who faces the greatest cruiserweight of all time on the grandest stage of them all. So who's it going to be? Who's it going to be to face him as he continues his legacy? And who's going to try to take down or stop the unstoppable? So, blah, blah, blah. Owen, let me start with you. Your thoughts on the squash match in this Buddy Murphy promo?
The squash match was what it was. It was meant just to get Arya Daivari over, so I thought it did its job. Like we talked about, though, on your show, I really hate that wrestlers utilize the cheap sports heat to get heat because, like I said, I think it's cheap heat. The only time it worked, like we talked about, was, during the Elias Kevin Owens segment when they really got booed. That's how you do the sports heat right there.
For 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And the amount of heat on that. Wow.
And then I obviously like the Buddy Murphy promo. I don't know, actually, because this has happened since then. If you go on his Instagram, he even goes through his whole career, like how he talked about how he was NXT Tag Team Champion and then he wasn't booked for like a year. Talk about improvement with anybody, because I remember when Buddy Murphy started out, he was in that Bland Tag Team with Wesley Blake, and he's improved tremendously like over the past year. So I love Buddy Murphy is probably the best cruiserweight on 205 Live, and I love this promo, and it really establishes him. And like I talked about, I don't really think we're going to see much of him unless it's like, a promo or a squash match, because I don't think, he'll have much of a presence on the show up until this tournament's over. So, but I really liked both these things.
Well, here's Holman every week. We don't see him watching from a weird angle on some TV backstage. Chris, your thoughts on that squash match and this Buddy Murphy promo?
From my thought process is they're trying to build up Arya Davari, which is all right. I'm okay with it. And the Buddy Murphy promo is just awesome. I hope it's him and Cedric again at Mania. That'd be awesome.
Oh, okay. That'd be an interesting callback. Speaking of which, we go straight into our main event. Once again, 205 Live, they always give you a dang good main event nowadays. That's at least 15 minutes, bell to bell. Mike Kanellis versus Cedric Alexander. Mike Kanellis, the opportunist, who ultimately he has to win, in the commentator's opinion. And he's not wrong, versus the Soul, Cedric Alexander, who 2 weeks ago, he failed to win the Fatal 4-Way to even try and face Buddy Murphy for the title. So, but they also referenced how he did win the tournament last year, and apparently across the street, culminated at Mania, where he became the Cruiserweight Champion. So following this, the crowd was hot for Cedric. He got a chance right out the gate. There was a nice filling out process. There was an exchange of slaps and arm drags and chops. And Maria Kanellis, she's just watching from ringside, this time as a non-commentator, because apparently, in English, disrespected her, according to Nigel. He asked the hard-hitting questions. I guess she couldn't take it. Go figure. But yeah, Mike showed a lot of aggression here. There were some good spots here. A lot of kicks. I think the first spot really picked up where Cedric tried to go for a springboard move, and Mike caught him with a right hand, dropping him. That was a messy landing, by the way. There was at least like 3 good right hands from Mike in this match. He delivers a good right hand. Basically, though, call back to that 4-way match. Cedric, he goes for a springboard. Once again, slips and falls off. Looks like he tweaks the right knee. Mike goes immediately on the attack. But Cedric, he gets some nice pins in here, some inside cradle, small packages. Out of nowhere, he gets a super kick, but can't capitalize because, his legs hurt. This is the first part of the match where he goes for his lumbar check. Cedric can't do it. He also then goes for his neuralizer, and he can't do that either. And then Mike just plants Cedric for a near fall. Almost shades of a Falcon Arrow for his Michinoku driver. Maria hyped up at this moment, but still not enough. Then we get a combination of uppercut, right hand, kick, and then another right hand into another one of Mike's signatures, the backpack stunner, into another near fall. This is the point where you can visibly see Mike's getting really frustrated, and Maria, she's not sure what to do at ringside. Cedric tries to catch him with a roll-up, small package, even a backslide. Good back and forth here, which eventually leads to Cedric achieving a Michinoku driver into a near fall. Still not enough. So we got fight for control. Both men are on the apron at this point. Both men eat each other's boots. Mike falls to the floor. Cedric falls to the apron. Mike seems like he's crawling away. Cedric goes after him. Out of nowhere, Mike spine busters him on the steel diamond plate on the rampway. And Cedric is screaming agonizingly in pain. Nearly gets Mike Kanellis a count-out victory. They have to do their near count-out victories in these matches. But still not enough. Following this, Mike, he capitalizes, though, goes for a Boston Crab. Cedric, though, biting his thumb, looking like he's going to tap, reaches for the top rope. And then Maria, basically, she comes into play where when Mike Kanellis goes after Cedric and he gets sent over the top rope, and then Cedric, he flies up the top rope, takes out Mike, and Maria is just panicking. Cedric throws Mike into the ring. Maria tries to block off Cedric, like, no, you're not going back in the ring. You don't touch him. You stay right here. I don't know why it took Cedric this long to get by Maria. I have no idea. But he finally gets back into the ring. And then Mike catches him with a super kick into what he hasn't used yet, a twisting DDT variation, where I thought he won. But kudos. These refs actually have brains, and the camera crew knows what they're doing. John Cone catches himself after he already hits the 3 that Cedric sort of did come up. And they also showed on replay, not normal speed, but slow speed. So even heel commentator Nigel McGuinness puts over, you can't argue with evidence. Cedric got the shoulder up at 2 7/8. Maria having a conniption. Mike looks like he's about to blow a gasket. Mike doesn't know what to do. So he tries to go in for the kill, and a cover attempt was in play here, but then Cedric finally catches Mike into a lumbar check, which nobody but Buddy Murphy at this point is kicked out of. 1, 2, 3. Cedric Alexander wins. Maria looks shocked, looks angry, then smiles. I have no idea how to read her. We'll see what's next for these two. But Cedric wins. Great momentum builder. What an incredible match. Chris, your thoughts on this match?
It sounds fantastic. It really does. If used properly, like he was, from what it seems like on 205 Live, he has a lot of potential to be a big time star. And we obviously know who Cedric Alexander is. Fucking beast of a fucking competitor in the ring. Former cruiserweight champion. This match sounds fucking amazing.
Yeah, I highly suggest you go check it out if you can. Don't do WWE.com though, because they only show you like a bit of it. Like I said, this match is worth checking out.
Yeah.
Owen, I know we talked about, but go ahead and give your thoughts and any other different analysis you might have.
Well, it was awesome. I do have to break down like that spot again because I lost the connection, so you probably the fans didn't probably hear it on my end. Pretty much, when Mike Kanellis hits a twist in DDT and he counts to 3, but the ref when the ref counts to 3, Cedric actually kicked out and the referee called it off. Like we said, we liked it because it shows that the referee actually has common sense to realize he messed up. Because if that happened on the main roster, they would have like pushed that off the next week or something. They would have just ended the match right there. So, but I loved it. It reestablishes Cedric Alexander. It continues whatever storyline's going on with Mike Kanellis. So yeah, I don't know. I liked it though. But then obviously we had the backstage segment where Drake Maverick was about to announce who's in the tournament, and this is where Chris has to guess. No cheating, Chris. You better not have cheated. Who were the first 4 competitors in the tournament? The 2 matches that are going to happen. Why don't you guess the 2 matches?
Yeah, because the 2 matches next week are the first 4 competitors. You have 2 one-on-one encounters. First, your guess.
I don't fucking know.
Nope, you better guess.
I'm not guessing.
The video won't end until you guess.
Oh well, that's too bad then.
All right, then I guess we're gonna keep.
Wait. In Chris's defense, he doesn't watch. Chris, you know some of the other talent on 205 Live, though, correct?
Yeah.
Start naming names.
The people you mentioned earlier, like Humberto Carrillo, Arya Davari,
Nope.
Cedric Alexander, Buddy Murphy.
Nope.
Okay, name
He's not gonna be in it. He's the champion. What are you
Monday
doing?
Night Main Event Mike.
Name some names that we haven't seen or talked about this week.
That's tough.
You better not be looking.
Tozawa.
Nope.
Been on. Not this week, though, so I am right.
Yeah, but
There you go.
He wasn't one of the names.
That's
I
right.
win.
Yeah.
All right, Owen, let's just tell him. And to be fair, I don't know if he did say this, and Chris, you can correct me on this if you didn't. The matches next week that we're getting in this opening for the tournament are Kalisto versus Tony Nese and the Brian Kendrick versus Drew Gulak.
Yes. I'm really looking forward to those matches. I think they'll both be awesome. And like I said, we gave predictions. I think Tony Nese will beat Kalisto, and Drew Gulak will beat the Brian Kendrick.
I completely agree. I hope Drew Gulak goes so far in this tournament. I still say Drew Gulak should become Cruiserweight champ this year. But again, it's going to be heel versus face dynamic. Unless Drew suddenly goes face somehow in this tournament or is viewed as the face, I don't see him winning the whole thing, but we'll talk about that later. Chris, what are your predictions on these 2 matches' outcomes?
I don't really know.
No, you have to give an answer.
I can't really speak on it because I don't watch 205 Live.
Okay. Well,
205 Live matters.
Yeah, hashtag 205 Live matters. I hope you do get around to watching the show, my friend.
If I watch it, I'd give it an honest opinion, but I don't, so I can't really give an honest opinion on it.
Okay, I respect that. It's kind of like an actual versus estimate. So why don't you just give us your estimated guess on who's going to win these 2 matches, starting with who you think's going to win out of these 2. Just a pure guess. Tony Nese or Kalisto?
Kalisto.
And Drew Gulak versus the Brian Kendrick?
Gulak.
Okay. So actually, somehow we're all in agreement. 2 people that watch the show and an honest outsider's opinion.
Well, the only one he has different is the Kalisto Tony Nese match.
Well, Kalisto and Tony Nese, they do have past history because if you remember correctly, the Lucha House Party were feuding for a while with the Brian Kendrick and Tony Nese in a tag team feud. Which, of course, Buddy Murphy and Tony Nese, I believe they went over in that feud. I don't remember because there wasn't much to that. So, letter grade for 205 Live. I mean, come on. Is there any argument? A.
Yeah. Well, A- for me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because, I don't know. I mean, I really do want to see Mike pick up a win. I'm still trying to figure out what the match is for Mike Kanellis. So, yeah, A-. Chris, I know you don't watch, but hey, honest opinion, analytical opinion.
An A minus.
Okay.
So we're all saying A minus. And that ends Tuesday night, which brings us to the best night of wrestling in the week, NXT's.
Yep. So starting with NXT UK that took place on February 20th, 2019. This was episode 31. We had Nigel McGuinness and Vic Joseph on commentary for this show. And we had the first match on the show. It was Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster versus the Coffey Brothers. This match was a pretty good opening match to kick off the show. The Coffey Brothers dominate the match early by taking out Flash Morgan Webster, but then eventually Mark Andrews gets the hot tag. But then they dominate him for a while. They really get the heat on him for a long-ass time by targeting his ribs and his head. But then eventually Flash Morgan Webster gets the hot tag. I do like that move that they hit where Mark Andrews grabs Flash Morgan Webster's leg and he does like the stand-in moonsault. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
But then eventually the finish comes when Joe Coffey hits the spinning, the discus clothesline. I believe it was on Flash Morgan Webster for the win. You know, the Coffey Brothers win, which that makes sense because obviously they've been running roughshod over NXT UK since the beginning. So, yeah, I thought the match was really good, and I really enjoyed them. I obviously like the Stundog Millionaire too that Mark Andrews hits, but obviously I think this one was like the worst one he's hit because I don't think when Mark Coffey went for the suplex, I feel like they had some miscommunication. But that was that match. Noah, your thoughts on the opening match on the show?
We already knew Giles had to go over here because Giles has to look strong in some way. Mark Coffey and Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster. At this point, you might as well just call them the developmental team. But every time I see Flash Morgan Webster comes out now in that black and white, get up, I feel like he just turned heel at this point and just bashed somebody in the head with that freaking aviator helmet. But yeah, I enjoyed this opening bout. It was nice seeing the Coffeys for the first time as a tag team in a while. Beyond NXT UK, I saw them in ICW feuding each other over a Zero G title. Was really good. And yeah, Abra best for the bells. That just gets clothesline for the win. We'll see what happens from here with this team.
All right, Chris, even though you didn't see it, your thoughts?
It sounds like a great match. It's great to see the Coffey Brothers teaming up together. It's usually like in a 6-man tag capacity, or it's usually just Mark Coffey or Joe Coffey and Wolfgang teaming up.
Well, maybe this answers our questions. We've been wondering what's next for Joe Coffey. Maybe he's just going to be in the tag team with his brother Mark Coffey, which I think makes the most sense out of anything. Because I feel like
to be fair, that's what happened to friggin' Zach Gibson when he tried to go for the title against Pete Dunne twice, I might add, and he became a tag team with James Drake. A shout out to one of their old tag teams, Grizzled Young Vets, which they now call themselves NXT UK, and they're now the champions.
Yeah, exactly. So I actually would like to see them as the tag team. But yeah, I would like this opening match. But then we get to some promos and vignettes, which I'll just break all those down at once, and then you guys can give your thoughts on them. Nina Samuels has a vignette where she it shows her as if she's like at a movie theater and stuff like that, which I like that. I like her character so far. Jordan Devlin cuts a promo talking about he's at like the beach in Ireland, and he's doing one of those selfie promos. I still laugh that he has to tell us who he is, even though it says his name on the freaking screen. But he says that since Travis Banks got involved in his business, he's gonna make him regret it pretty much. I liked that promo. I thought I liked Jordan Devlin. And then we had a vignette from Kaylee Ray, which is very interesting because this is the first time we've seen her since NXT UK Takeover Blackpool. She's going to be debuting soon. I'm assuming she'll debut within the next few weeks. She talks about how pretty much she's the best woman to perform in NXT UK, and so she's better than Rhea Ripley, Toni Storm, and all the other women in NXT UK, and says that she's revolutionized hardcore. Well, she didn't call it hardcore wrestling. She called it something else, like parkour wrestling, I believe it is. And she's like the insane woman. I like it. and I think she'll be an awesome addition to NXT UK. I think she's going to be a heel. I got a heel vibe from when I saw her in the vignette, but that's just me. Maybe she'll be a babyface, because I remember when Danny Burch had his vignettes, I thought he was going to be a heel, but he ended up being a babyface, so I could be wrong. But we'll start with Chris this time, since he knows these people, but he hasn't seen any of this stuff. Your thoughts on all these promos right here?
Yeah, I thought they're pretty good. They sound pretty good. Pretty decent promos, yeah.
What about you? What do you expect from Kaylee Ray? Because you haven't seen her yet, really. So,
I saw her wrestle a couple of times in Defiant. Pretty good.
What, heel or face?
I don't know. I think she was a face when I saw her wrestle in WCPW at the time. But yeah.
Yeah. Now Noah, what are your thoughts on all these vignettes and promos?
Nia Samuels, she's going to be, they're building her as a credible heel because obviously you need more heels in the women's division. Jenny's not going to be enough because the whole ratio between face and heels in the NXT UK women's division at this point is very uneven. It surprises me that we haven't seen like Charlie Morgan or Killer Kelly in a while, but we'll talk about that another day. Jordan Devlin, why is his name still on the screen? He mentions who he is. It's redundant, but I look forward to seeing him face Travis Banks again. I have to imagine it's going to be a no DQ match because last time those two couldn't even finish their bout, and they still ended up fighting outside the ring after the bout was thrown out on a double count out. And as far as Kaylee Ray, I'm very looking forward to her in NXT UK because, moreover, if you remember, she was in the Mae Young Classic. She was more portrayed as the heel in those matches, but I've seen her wrestle in ICW. I've seen her wrestle for Pro Wrestling Eve at Wrestle Queendom, where she beat Michael Satomura. So trust me, this is a serious better she can go. I recently saw her in a Queen of Insanity match with Piper Niven on ICW Fear and Loathing 11. And apparently, according to what I saw on something on YouTube, in ICW, she's the current women's champion. She's supposed to be facing Toni Storm, of all people, in a Square Go match. But that might be out of date. I'm not sure. I have to check and see if that's true or not. I think it's actually next month. So, yeah, Kaylee Ray, I think, is going to be a very viable competitor in the NXT UK brand. She's going to bring a lot of wildness because she is known as the Queen of Hardcore. And if I were to say whether or not she's going to be heel or face, I got to imagine she's going to be a heel at this point. Because right now, your ultimate champ at NXT UK, at the time of this recording and at the time of speaking, is a face.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right, then we had the next match on the show. It was Trent's. Oh, and I forgot to mention, too, this NXT UK taping also took place during Royal Rumble Access. That's why you've seen some of the matches.
It was part of their time in Phoenix.
I think they're going to be there, I think next week's going to be the last week, if I'm not
mistaken. One more week.
Yeah, one more week. But it was Trent Seven versus Shane Thorne. I thought this match actually was really good. Trent Seven gets the advantage early by working over the shoulder of Shane Thorne because he had kinesio tape on it, and then Shane Thorne targets the shoulder of Trent Seven. He hangs it up on the ropes. He grinds it up against the steel post and bashes it off the post, and he dominates his shoulder. Really works over by putting him into various submission moves, and then Trent Seven makes his comeback. I love that spot where he always goes for the chop, and then the guy blocks it, but then he ends up hitting the DDT instead. I love that spot.
Yeah.
And then he clotheslines him. No, he gets him in the figure four. They roll into the ropes, and they both fall down off, and they land on the unprotected part of the floor because the whole floor wasn't protected by mats. It was only some of it. And then Shane Thorne gets back in control by hitting a back suplex onto the apron onto Trent Seven. He goes to hit some sort of move off the top turnbuckle, but we never got to find out what it was because Trent Seven countered it and hit a superplex off the top rope, and then eventually hit the 7-star lariat. He got the victory. I thought this match, though, was really good. I thought Shane Thorne looked very impressive in this match. And a lot of people have been asking, me and Chris asked it. I don't know if you have been on video yet. What's next for Shane Thorne now that he's going singles? Because we think NXT really isn't a good fit because it's so loaded right now. But we suggested 205 Live, but then we had Chris look it up. He doesn't fit the weight limit. But he's Australian. So why not go to NXT UK? I think he would be. I think that would be a nice utilization for him. I think he'd be a nice addition to NXT UK, and we could see a lot of great matches like this. And I feel like no one talks about it enough. I think Trent Seven is underratedly like one of the best wrestlers that the company has right now. But that's just my opinion. We'll start with Noah. Your thoughts on this match and Shane Thorne, what's next for him, and then obviously my comment about Trent Seven.
I thought this match was very good. I like seeing Trent Seven as a singles competitor because it really, when you think about these tag team matches, a lot of people, they only look and think about Tyler Bate because they think he owns the match, he carries the team, and steals the show. Trent Seven had a very nice showing, but I like how they were playing to the kinesio tape and also playing towards his knee. Shane Thorne, though, very viable heel type persona. Great back and forth bout, but of course I saw Trent Seven winning with his 7-star lariat because you're not going to have this guy lose, especially if you think they're going to build towards maybe Mustache Mountain going after the champs again, or maybe Tyler Bate versus Trent Seven facing each other in a one-on-one to see, I don't know, who's the better man. Let's just see how far you come, kid, because again, it's teacher and student in that team.
Yep.
As far as a Shane Thorne placement, I completely agree about him being an NXT UK brand because, they reach out to not only regions in Europe, but they also have talent that is localized from Australia. Rhea Ripley and Toni Storm, your biggest two. And based on the fact he's already been with Rhea Ripley in mixed tag team matches on NXT house shows in the U.S. soil against Casey Catanzaro and Ricochet, according to what I found on Twitter, I feel like it would be a perfect fit. Maybe he and Rhea can go into business together as a mixed tag that help each other out, and that will build a different dynamic there.
All right, Chris, now it's your turn.
Match sounds awesome. I have to watch it. I haven't watched it yet. Yeah, so I can't really speak on it.
What about Shane Thorne being a part of NXT UK?
I've said this in the past. Yes, he should be on it. He has nothing right now because his tag team partner fucking quit and went home, back to Australia. It would be best for him to go to NXT UK.
All right. And then we have gentleman Jack Gallagher have an interview, and they talk about how we haven't seen him on NXT UK since, the NXT United Kingdom Championship tournament back in the summer. So Jack Gallagher says he's going to go talk to Johnny Saint about that. So we would find out later on in the show that next week it's going to be Tyler Bate versus gentleman Jack Gallagher. But that match is obviously a callback because they fought before for the United Kingdom Championship. Like it was like the second time the title was ever defended and stuff like that.
And it was obviously an awesome bout too. Go back and look at that on the network.
Yeah, and obviously too, I think this match would be even better because Jack Gallagher is now like a ruthless heel now. So I think that match will be awesome. And then Joseph Connors gets interviewed, and he talks about how he's here to destroy all the new toys of NXT UK. And then he gets asked about his match with Ligero where he lost. And he said that Ligero just caught him on an off day. But he said he's never going to have an off day ever again. And the next time him and Ligero get in the ring, he's going to find that out. And then we had the Grizzled Young Veterans promo, which mainly was just a Zach Gibson promo because he's the only one that really talks out of the tag team. He talks about how him and James Drake are the best tag team in NXT UK and the best champions in WWE. And they're going to bring prestige to the titles, and they'll be soon to be recognized as Liverpool's number one. Only disappointing thing about this is that the crowd didn't do their if you hate Zach Gibson. No, here we are, Zach Gibson. Mainly because they're in a different country now, so they probably don't really know that chant as well. But he even talked about how he was I think he tried to get that chant started because he talked about how he doesn't even want to be there. He'd rather be having his shoes off and watching something else on the WWE network, which I doubt he's watching stuff off the network, Zach Gibson. I think you're lying to me right there. So
he's just trying to get cheap heat. I think it's safe to say Zach Gibson, he likes organically being viewed as a heel. It feeds him. It thrives him. He was in a very weird setting here because the crowd was kind of dead because they didn't know the guy.
And then also they talked about Orny Lorcan and Danny Burch, how they're not a credible tag team to face them. So then I thought that was going to be the segment. But then Orny Lorcan and Danny Burch actually come out, and Danny Burch cuts the promo saying that he's happy to represent NXT in this match. And he says that they're going to take the titles from him. And they say, why wait till next week? Let's go do this right now. So then obviously they go to attack them, but the Grizzled Young Veterans escape, and then that was that. So we'll start with Chris. Your thoughts on all these promos, the Jack Gallagher one, the Joseph Connors one, and the Grizzled Young Veterans.
They're all really good. Really, I can't speak on it. I didn't watch it, so.
Yeah, and then we'll get Noah's thoughts on all this stuff.
Jack Gallagher versus Tyler Bate, number 2, should be a very good match, especially since, like you said, Jack Gallagher is a ruthless heel. So he's likely to do anything to win. We're going to get some interesting new dynamics, I feel, in this match. Maybe some callbacks to the previous match. Joseph Connors, as long as he doesn't become as irrelevant as Mojo Rawley, it is what it is. I'm looking forward to see what's next for that guy. And, I mean, Zach Gibson, James Drake, Ray Bizarro were in their opinion, while the crowd was dead, with Zach Gibson still as loud as ever, stating how he'll soon be the freaking greatest tag team champs of all time. And yeah, like you said, you thought I was going to end here? No, we get a cheap attempted scuffle between Danny Burch and Oni Lorcan, and I'm looking forward to that tag title match. But again, NXT UK in Phoenix on Access Weekend with a crowd that barely knows them and not nearly as big as a crowd as their venues in the UK, it just does feel a little off altogether.
Yeah. Well, also I heard some of these tapings took place I talked about last week, while certain superstars like Triple H and Stephanie McMahon were having autograph signed and stuff too.
Which also drove away, because I'm sure they didn't like pan zoom to it, but I bet you a lot of people were walking in and out of that closed off segment.
Yeah. All right. So then we had the main event of this show. It was an NXT UK Women's Championship match. NXT UK Women's Champion Toni Storm versus Rhea Ripley. Before the match starts, Rhea Ripley attacks Toni Storm so that way she can get the advantage. And Rhea Ripley pretty much dominates this match right from the beginning. She throws Toni Storm back first into the apron, into the post. Back suplexes her onto the apron, just like she did, in the first match where she won the title and became the first champion. And then Toni Storm mounts a comeback. She hits the hip attack into the corner. And Rhea Ripley tries to win this match several times. She gets the reverse Texas Cloverleaf onto Toni Storm. But then eventually she runs into the steel post, and Toni Storm hits the Storm Zero for the win, and retains the title. I thought this match was great, but I think it was definitely not as good as the first two matches. I think if this match had happened at a different venue and they had built to this match a little bit more, I think it would have been a little bit better. But Toni Storm won. And like I said, I think it was a great match. And I guess that's the end of the feud. I don't know where Rhea Ripley goes from here. If she's going to go to NXT and challenge for the NXT title. But that's kind of really not going to work because Shayna Baszler's the champion. And she's a heel. And they're not going to have, heel versus heel. I'm guessing she's just going to stay in NXT UK a little bit longer. Maybe she'll, feud with Kaylee Ray when she comes in or something. I don't really know. I imagine Toni Storm's going to feud with Ginny now, which... That's kind of like a downgrade from Rhea Ripley and Toni Storm. I've really lost, I don't really like Ginny. I like Ginny in the start, but I've kind of, she's kind of gotten stale a little bit. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But Chris, obviously, from what you think of this match, what do you think?
It was good enough.
Yep. What do you think Rhea Ripley goes from here?
I think she better off going to the regular NXT.
Yeah, maybe she'll go. Well, obviously we know she's gonna go home, so that's given. So
yeah,
I mean, she's not or the hotel. I mean, obviously that's where she's going, but
yeah, I think it's just like, even if she does go to Shayna Baszler, like it could still be a heel match.
Yeah, Rhea Ripley might be the de facto babyface in that match too. So.
Yeah.
What about you? Thoughts on the match and where Rhea Ripley goes from here?
Again, if they had the right venue, right audience, I feel like it would have been a lot hotter, but it was still a good match. I agree with you. It wasn't as good in my opinion, or didn't feel as hot as the first two. The crowd still seemed to have reacted organically, though, because they know a little bit of Toni Storm and Rhea Ripley. So it was an okay bout, but I saw the outcome from a mile away. I did not see Toni Storm losing this title because they're not going to treat the NXT UK Championships this early in the brand, especially, as transitional. So it was a good match. As far as Rhea Ripley, there's one or two ways I can see her going. Because, again, you're right. There's Ginny, but there's also Nita Samuels, which is why they probably had that package. You need to build heels now to challenge Toni. In my opinion, those are the only two heels you really have that could probably face Toni at this point. But I got to imagine it's going to be Ginny next. As far as Rhea Ripley, though, like I said, she's been doing mixed tags with Shane Foreign on house shows against Ricochet and Casey Catanzaro. Casey Catanzaro has yet to debut on NXT Live TV. I can see that being Casey's first feud, especially with how much Casey and Rhea have interacted with one another during the Mae Young Classics and the Royal Rumble. So I could see Rhea going to NXT US, I'm just going to call it that, for that purpose to start in that feud. Because we still have a lot of NXT signed talent yet to debut on TV, women and men, and not just this recent class either.
Yeah. All right, and that was pretty much NXT UK for this week. I thought it was a great episode. I'm going to give it a B+. What do you give it, Noah?
Well, like I said, the only turnoff for me was the crowd. Yeah, B+.
What about you, Chris? How does this show sound to you?
B+.
Okay. Now on to the regular NXT. Which took place on the same day. We had Percy Watson, Mo Manalo, and Nigel McGuinness on commentary. First match was Aleister Black versus Roderick Strong.
Woo!
This match was awesome. Obviously, it would be because it has Roderick Strong and Aleister Black in it, so I shouldn't even need to say anything else. But, Aleister Black starts off the matchup very aggressive, but then eventually Roderick Strong throws him back first into the guardrail, back first into the steps, and he really just targets the back of Aleister Black. I'm not saying dominates his back again because I made that mistake once. I'm not doing that again.
Glad you learned your lesson.
Oh, no, you were there for that, so... no, unless you saw that, so... but yeah, pretty much Roderick Strong, since he's like the messiah of the backbreaker, a lot of his movesets revolves around him hitting backbreakers and suplexes and stuff.
Very innovative.
Aleister Black makes his comeback. He hits the Cabrana, and then eventually gets the win pretty much out of nowhere with the Black Mass, and wins the match. And then afterwards, Undisputed Era starts to make their way to the win. Aleister Black immediately takes off Kyle O'Reilly's head with a Black Mass, but he's unable to fight off Adam Cole and Bobby Fish. No, wait. Yeah, Adam Cole and Bobby Fish it would be, yeah. And Ricochet comes out and makes the save, and that was it. They just kind of chase off Undisputed Era, which I'm assuming this is going to build to like some sort of tag team match with, Aleister Black and Ricochet versus two members of Undisputed Era. But I thought this was a really good way to open the show. Noah, we'll start with you. What were your thoughts?
I knew as soon as I heard this match was happening, it was going to be damn good, and boy, was it. So many innovative ways that Roderick Strong calls himself the Messiah of the Backbreaker for a reason, that he used the ring as a improv weapon to Aleister Black's back. And, of course, Aleister Black wins with a Black Mass, as Marvin calls it. Love that guy, by the way.
Yeah.
Greatest commentator ever. Except good old JR. But anyway... yeah, it was a good match. The after beatdown was pretty funny, especially with Kyle O'Reilly immediately eating a freaking Black Mass and just rolling out of the ring through the ropes. I have to imagine, which I'm sure you'll talk about, with the return of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, maybe Aleister Black and Ricochet will be an improv tag team.
Maybe. Chris, how does this match sound to you?
Amazing.
All right. Continuing. It shows a video from last week with Shayna Baszler, Jessamine Duke, and Marina Shafir picking a fight backstage with some NXT women. It was Mia Yim, Jessie, Ariel Monroe, which is Cedric Alexander's wife, I believe.
Correct.
And
It is, yeah.
Lacey Lane. Lot of yelling, which me and Chris love that. We love when women are just yelling backstage like that. So
fucking
Well, you know something's about to go down when you hear a bunch of women yelling backstage, especially in a wrestling promotion.
yeah, this segment was weird, but yeah, I don't know.
And then, of course, you had Serena Deeb and Rachel Ellering talking to each other, and they come in to basically break it up.
Yeah. It was okay, I guess. It was just weird.
In my opinion, this just tries and portrays that whole locker room mentality. Who owns the locker room? Is there fear? Is there a revolution in sight? Are everyone finally standing up to Shayna Baszler? I mean, I could see this building in a number of ways.
Yeah. Chris, your thoughts on this, all this yelling?
Fuck it.
Chris doesn't like... Yeah, because Chris doesn't like noise. If you make noise, he tells you to shut up.
Really?
Yeah. He does not like noise.
I can only imagine what his reaction was in Dumb and Dumber when they made that weird sound in that vehicle.
Yeah.
Don't be doing that shit.
You go to if you ever come to Massachusetts, which I doubt you will. You ever go to Chris's house, which I doubt you will. You make noise. You scream like that at his house. He's probably gonna pull out the whip.
What about Eric Bugenhagen? What if he showed up at his house and did that scream?
That's game over.
Eric Bugenhagen, still one of my favorite jobbers of all time. Anyway,
what if I show up to your house and start screaming?
Fucking game over.
He has no exception. Okay, Owen, let's stay on top of the wrestling. Moving on.
Yep. Then we have a video package for Bianca Belair. She talks about how Io Shirai stole her pinfall victory over Shayna Baszler and says that, Io Shirai won't get an NXT Women's Championship match until after she does, and says that she's undefeated, but you're not undefeated. You lost at NXT TakeOver War.
In her mind, she feels undefeated. I have to imagine that's got to mean something different because, yeah, you have a loss.
Yeah, because maybe she has amnesia though from that Corquita clutch that Shayna Baszler put on her. So
I don't think that's as effective as a Claymore. I'm just saying.
I know it's called something else, but it's a Corquita clutch. That's what it's called.
Karafuda.
No, Corquita clutch.
It's called the shit. Is what it's called.
Yeah.
All right, let's not do that. Come on.
But yeah, Chris, your thoughts on Bianca Belair's video package?
I don't like her.
Okay. Noah.
Again, it hypes up how credible a competitor she is, and then playing into that interview segment with Io Shirai and Kairi Sane, I have to imagine it's going to be Io Shirai versus Bianca Belair for #1 contendership to the NXT Women's Championship. Unless another person comes into play, which you will get to shortly.
Yeah. Also, too, Chris, Bianca Belair was making noise, so it's game over for her, too.
Fucking game over.
Now that she whips you, you talk about your whip.
Oh, yeah.
Which one's stronger?
Game over.
All right, then we had
that.
Then we had the announcement of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, which I'm psyched at. I love the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. I've watched it every year, since it's started. The whole thing.
The fourth season now of it. The fourth Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic now.
Yep. And we have the participants, the first 4 teams that are going to be in it. We have representing the Undisputed Era, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. We have representing the Forgotten Sons, Steve Cutler and Wesley Blake. Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel, which I kind of was surprised about that one. I didn't think they would be in it.
I just hate they call themselves the European Union, but continue.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know that when I took this picture, so.
Gotcha.
And we also have the Street Profits, which it's Chris's boys. But I guess they're allowed to make noise because he just loves the Street Profits. So
damn straight.
What about you, Noah? Your thoughts on not the Mayon Classic, the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classics coming back?
I always enjoy it. Like I said, you never know what sort of match you're going to get out of this, and you don't know what sort of team stuff you're going to get out of this either. I'm very curious to see what the other 4 teams are going to be, especially because I feel like Ricochet and Aleister Black would be a great improv one. Now, as far as if I see someone winning out of these 4, Street Profits are probably the most credible to win because you could see them building the most momentum to themselves, especially after that great tag team victory against Stacey Irvin Jr. and the other guy.
Humberto Carrillo.
Humberto Carrillo, thank you. Yeah. Undisputed Era, though, they won last time under. So if they were to win this year naturally, that would be very interesting. They would also make history as the first 2-time winners of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. The Forgotten Sons, due unto others, we will not be forgotten. This might finally make people start to remember them. I don't see them fully winning. And as far as the European Union, Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel, I don't know what to think about them at this point. I can see them going at least in the quarterfinals. I don't see them taking the whole thing. Great 4 teams to start off, though.
What do you think the other 4 teams will be while we're talking about it?
That's the tough part. Well, it's not going to be War Raiders, obviously. Those are your champs. I'm trying to figure out the other tag teams in.
Yeah, because the winner faces them at NXT Takeover New York.
Blackout. Remember, it's called Blackout.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
that's the tough part. I'm not sure exactly. Like I said, one of them could be like Ricochet and Aleister Black. I could see them probably doing Stacy Irvin Jr. and Alberto Carrillo again. If not, maybe Raul Mendoza, because Raul Mendoza, he's been relegated to tag team wrestling. And let's see, not the Mighty, they don't exist anymore. Maybe Only Lorcan and Danny Burch.
I think them, yeah. And maybe Mustache Mountain, too. That's possibly.
And I can imagine them adding another team from NXT UK. Heck, it might be Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews for all I know.
Maybe, yeah.
So if I were to pick the remaining 4, those would be it.
Okay. Chris, your thoughts on the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classics coming back?
It's a great tournament every year.
Yeah.
It's just what a way to honor Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah, and obviously I want to ask who else you think will be in it because
I already know one team that's already in it. That's one of the teams that wasn't mentioned.
Okay, so you already know. So just don't say anything.
Hashtag spoiler free, my friend. Hashtag spoiler free.
Yeah.
I had to. I got the best of me.
But yeah, are we close though? Like, you can tell us.
I remember one of them.
Okay.
We've seen them already.
But yeah, we won't say anything. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I love it. Then we have I have to go back to my NXT notes now because I had to go to my photos to find that. Then we had Mia Yim versus Xia Li. It was okay. Xia Li is still new, so she's still kind of green. But Mia Yim won with like an inverted eat defeat. I think this is a lot better because I hate the eat defeat finish. So, yeah. And then afterwards, Shayna Baszler, Marina Shafir, and Jessamine Duke come out and do like the weakest group attack I've ever seen in my life. Chris, you could if you're gonna watch NXT for anything, you need to watch this group attack because it's the weakest thing I've ever seen in my life. So,
oh, I will.
And then we're making noise too, so you know.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then Lacey Lane, Ariel Monroe, and Jesse come out to try to make the save, but they fail epically. And they just take out not Marina Shafir. That would make. Why would they take out?
Take out one of their own.
Yeah.
I can see them doing that. They are green, but continue.
Then they take out Mia Yim completely, and that was it. It leads to a match. It's going to lead to a match next week with Mia Yim and Shayna Baszler. But
fully called it.
Yeah, this attack that was not impressive at all, in my opinion. No. I just thought it was weak. What about you, Noah? What do you think of this match and attack?
Jeez. Well, I think Xia Li and Mia Yim, they have pretty good ring chemistry. I think Xia Li, she's come a long way since she first up in NXT. She had a decent showing in the Rumble. And I feel like her and Mia Yim, they kind of clash pretty well together. But yeah, I saw Mia Yim winning overall. Decent little back and forth bout. Nothing too memorable, though. And then the post-match, unfortunately, was not that memorable either, except for the fact, called it! I knew Mia Yim was going to play somehow in this horsewomen feud and title picture. And hey, she's facing the champ next week. So imagine somehow her actually beating Shayna Baszler and being involved in a contender match with Io Shirai and Bianca Belair. I could totally see that happening. What I also find curious, though, is there was no signing of Vanessa Bourne and Aaliyah, which you remember last week, Jessamine Duke and Maria Shafir, they beat them down last week. And I was thinking this was going to lead to a match between them, those 4 women, putting the horsewomen over because Jessamine Duke and Maria Shafir, they are still very, very green.
Yeah. All right, Chris. I know. I feel like you should just go all out with this. What are you gonna say about it?
From what you guys are saying, that attack is the greatest attack in the history of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get any better than that.
I know.
I mean, you got 2 women who are greener than goose shit. Green as green can be.
I'm gonna need a good long
dark fucking green.
Yeah.
Both of them are fucking terrible. One of them kicks the ring post and doesn't even sell it. How? How do you not sell that?
Yeah, exactly.
stupid. It's a stupid group, and I hate them all. Legitimately hate them all. They're all failed UFC fighters. They love failed UFC fighters.
Well, except Ronda Rousey. She's the only one that's...
Well, to be fair, she did fail eventually after Holly Holman Munez beat the crap out of her.
Yeah.
Yep.
But kudos to Ronda Rousey on the streak she had.
Yeah. And then we had a backstage segment with Johnny Gargano, where Candice LeRae comes up and wishes him luck. And then Tommaso Ciampa comes up to wishes him luck, and Johnny Gargano blows him off and says, "I got everything I need right here." It's referencing his wife, and actually, I don't know, maybe he was referencing the title, maybe not even his wife. So, because that'd be such a heel thing to do. So yeah, I got everything I need right here. He's just referencing the championship. He's like, yeah, I don't even care. I have a wife. So, yeah. So like I said, if that backstage segment had happened a week ago, I'd been like, I loved it, but I don't really know what to make of it because they just reunited on Raw this week, so I'm like, weird.
Where's the continuity here? Vince, damn it. Learn NXT. You're ruining what we freaking know about these guys in NXT. They don't clash well with each other. They're not a face tag team. What
They're
are
best friends.
doing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Chris, your thoughts?
Friends.
Your thoughts on this?
The bestest of friends.
Well, Chris, I got good news for you. They didn't make any noise, so they allowed over your house.
I'm scared of Tommaso Ciampa.
Well, he doesn't make any noise, though, so...
I'm scared of him.
All right, then Jeremy Borash interviews Matt Riddle, and he talks about what he's done in NXT so far, how he's gonna, become a future champion. And he says his goal is to retire Brock Lesnar. Well, Brock Lesnar's going to be loaned out of the company before he even gets a chance, so that ain't happening. So
Here's hoping.
Yeah. And plus, too, Brock Lesnar's got some backstage politics, so he ain't retiring Brock Lesnar. That ain't happening, buddy. So
Brock Lesnar's retiring him.
Yeah, if anything else, yeah. Chris, your thoughts on this, though?
It was good.
Yeah.
It was very
thoughts
good.
on him? What about thoughts on him wanting to retire Brock Lesnar?
Best of luck.
Yeah. All right, Noah, your thoughts, and Matt Riddle wanting to retire Brock Lesnar.
Okay, so like I said, by the way, Candice LeRae, get involved in NXT. Where are you at? We see you backstage. You can wrestle. You're Candice wrestling for friggin' sake. But anyway, this segment, I mean, the Matt Riddle thing. I like Matt Riddle. I think he's had some very credible matches. I can see him going along with the NXT brand. I'm just waiting for him to face Dijakovic and or Keith Lee, or hell, make that a triple threat. That would be an incredible match. As far as retiring Brock Lesnar, I would like to see him face Brock Lesnar one-on-one because I feel like he'd give Brock Lesnar the longest credible match ever. But I don't see Brock Lesnar ever retiring, even at the hands of Matt Riddle, if we were ever to get that, bro. Also, great to see Jeremy Borash. I hope he becomes more involved as an on-screen interviewer in this capacity versus backstage, because honestly, I can see him being on commentary. There is a report that they are prepping for Michael Cole's eventual leaving from commentary. Is Jeremy Borash the replacement, or is it Corey Graves still?
Well,
yeah, Tom Phillips.
No,
From what I'm
Chris,
hearing, they might move Tom Phillips up to Raw.
We're moving on now, Chris. That's bad.
Let's save that story. Let's save that debate for another rundown.
Yeah. Yeah, this is actually Jeremy Borash during the NXT post shows they post on YouTube. He actually does the interviews like backstage, but this is the first time he's actually
on camera.
Yeah, this is the first time we've seen him on camera. So, that was awesome. And yeah, I don't really remember what else I was gonna say. I forgot. So I let you guys down. I was gonna say something, but then
Thanks a lot, Owen. Let us down.
No, I remember now what it is. No, I have to correct you. It's not. It's Dominic Dijakovic. So.
Oh right, thank you. Sorry, I'm so confused with the name change. Why did they do that?
It's Dijakovic. Don't worry, James doesn't know.
So stupid. But I do hope I see him next weekend in NXT Cleveland and NXT Detroit, which I will be seeing Saturday and Sunday.
That's awesome. You can even give reviews of it on the next rundown. So.
Will do.
All right, and then we had the main event. not the show, but the actual main event. The
What
NXT
main
North.
event?
Yeah, because if it was the show, Chris would have been leaving right now. So uh, then it was the NXT North American Championship match. NXT North American Champion Johnny Gargano versus the Velveteen Dream. So I didn't really know what to expect from this match because this was the weirdest thing that they ever did. They taped 2 finishes this time. They taped one where Gargano won and one where Velveteen Dream won. We saw obviously, the one I just mentioned. But can you imagine like being there live? Like, what did they do? Did they like do one finish and like then say, "Oh, we're gonna redo this now"? Like, what the hell happened? Like, can you imagine? It must have been weird being there live.
I can
But
only imagine because I imagine the live crowd, they probably see more than one taping back to back to back to back. Maybe they actually rewound this match and did it twice.
yeah, maybe
They
but
could have. I think that's what they did.
yeah,
It
maybe.
It makes the most sense to me.
Um,
kind of confused me because they taped like 2 different variations of the match. Like I don't know, like are they going to air that other variation as like a later on down the line, like saying that Gargano got screwed or something like that? Like I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah, like conspiracy theory. I don't know. NXT is not for that, and I quote, hokey shit. They don't do that. So, I mean, I have to imagine it was probably just one taping, and then they retaped that match for another show and spliced it together with this show because that would be confusing as me, especially when you see in this variation that we saw the post live angle of Ciampa just slowly walking away. By the way, I love these new techniques NXT always try and do. I love this whole blurred live view perspective versus looking at it from a fucking TV at an awkward angle backstage.
yeah. What? Yeah. Like Chris, how you're looking at us you're looking at us the WWE way, right?
No, yeah, I am actually.
Yeah.
I'm standing sideways and then slightly peering over.
Yeah. But anyhow, yeah, this match was awesome. I hated how they pretended though that the second match didn't exist, where the one that Velveteen Dream won, because that existed. So don't do that.
Right, where he was proposing that he was Johnny Failure.
Yeah. But obviously they start off by chain wrestling. Johnny Gargano gets the best of him at first because he's Johnny Wrestling. And then Velveteen Dream plays mind games with Johnny Gargano where he goes outside the ring. Johnny Gargano goes after him and he hits a right hand on him. And then Velveteen Dream hits an axe handle from the top turnbuckle. But then Johnny Gargano, throws Velveteen Dream into the barricade. He dominates the matchup what seemed like forever. And eventually Velveteen Dream mounts a comeback. And Johnny Gargano, then the match really started going back and forth. Velveteen Dream hits the twisted DDT, which was awesome. But then Johnny Gargano hits the twisted flatliner out of the corner. And then eventually Johnny Gargano hits a super kick, and the match just really starts to go back and forth, to which the point Velveteen Dream hits the elbow drop, which is best known as the Purple Rainmaker from the top. He actually gets the win, which is pretty surprising because Johnny Gargano just won the championship. But it really isn't too surprising considering the fact that Johnny Gargano made his appearance on the main roster. Thanks a lot, Vince. You ruined this match for everybody because we kind of figured that Velveteen Dream was going to win. So, and now I can't say I don't know what's going to happen because we lost a very awesome storyline because of Vince where we could have seen DIY take over NXT and we got it for freaking, 2 weeks. So thanks a lot, Vince. You have to ruin everything. So... but this match still was great. I'm happy Velveteen Dream won because obviously it's his first title win in WWE. But yeah, thanks a lot, Vince. Ruined some great storylines you could have gotten. Thanks a lot. But yeah, Noah, your thoughts?
Great main event. I figured that I really was hoping this was going to continue on to NXT Blackout, but I was wrong. Velveteen Dream with his first piece of gold under the NXT banner to a standing ovation. Crowd seemed a little quiet during the first half of this match, but then they really picked up. And yeah, Ciampa, interesting viewing point for him. We'll see what happens now. I gotta imagine they're gonna set up Ciampa versus Gargano for the NXT Championship somehow at Blackout.
Yeah.
And yeah, Vince again screws up continuity because he doesn't know NXT. So we'll see what happens from here. I don't. NXT does not do like automatic rematch clause things, thankfully. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens from here as far as will Johnny show up next week? Will Velveteen Dream talk about it next week? Will we get the rematch set up for Blackout automatically? Instead, everything right now with NXT as far as this title picture goes is completely up in the air.
Thanks to Vince.
Yep.
Chris, your thoughts?
Great main event. Great way to close out the fucking show. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Velveteen Dream wins his first championship. Awesome.
And that's pretty much the. Oh yeah, we forgot to grade. We almost forgot to grade the show. NXT was the best show of the week. I'm giving it an A.
Chris, why don't you go next? I'm still thinking.
A.
Ooh, Noah.
Okay. I'm trying to forget Vince screwing up NXT continuity. But I'm also looking at what's been built out of this, but what was also put on this show. I can't get past the fact that Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir look so damn weak. But I am looking forward to meeting them versus Shayna. I'm sorry, A-.
Okay. Hey, that's still an awesome grade though. So, but yeah, that's pretty much the end of all our WWE shows. Now we have to do plug-in promotion stuff because that's required. Chris, why don't you start with your stuff because you have the quickest stuff out of all of us. So,
It's one friggin' show that I'm on right now.
yeah. So that's it. Noah, you have anything you want to plug or promote?
Sure thing. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you on the next rundown whenever I might be on it. But like I said, next week, and I'll be in NXT Cleveland and NXT Detroit. I'll be sure to bring you guys live details and also talk about it in the chat. With that said, I'm just a simple man and a lifelong fan of wrestling. So if you want to follow me, look up my Twitter, nodq.com/Noah. Tasting my Twitter. I'll talk to you about anything wrestling, WWE, and beyond. If you want to check out my YouTube channel where I do pay-per-view predictions, WWE and beyond, monthly Wrestle Crate unboxings, and my series called 205 Life Matters. Look at my YouTube channel, youtube.com/users/NoahFoster210. Go follow NoDQ.com. Check out NoDQ here on YouTube. Just look up Aaron Briff, NoDQ. You'll find the 205 Life Matters series there as well. This week's episode included the man, Owen Finch, right here. We talked about 205 Live. And just like I said, go buy a shirt. NoDQ.com/shirts. Buy a shirt. Check out their list on Spotify, #TeamNoDQ. And as always, folks, support your wrestling outlets, both big and small. And let's keep growing this wrestling community together. Simple as that.
And no, I do have a request. Jay Hebert Side 95, James Archangel for the next episode. Make him a guest to make it happen.
All right.
But then, obviously, you can check out my stuff. You can check out my own The Talking Nitty YouTube channel where I post all my non-wrestling stuff. I don't know what the next video is going to be. Maybe it's going to be like me dropping my phone or something. I don't know.
What a video. Riveting content.
Yeah, subscribe to that. Subscribe to CM Brothers. Maybe I'll post a video of Chris dropping his phone, his brand new cell phone that he's going to get today. So,
already got it.
Yeah, maybe you'll drop your cell phone today. So
no, that's not fucking happening. I'm not going through that again.
Can I break your other one?
I don't know where my dad put it.
Oh, come on!
I had it on the kitchen table. I don't know where he put it.
Maybe he's gonna take it for himself.
No, that fucking thing is he broke it the other day.
You have a new number?
Oh, it is.
I'm breaking it Monday.
I'll show you it Monday.
All right. And then obviously check out this channel. March 1st, 2019. Me and Chris are gonna do a channel update video, and tomorrow, obviously if he remembers and doesn't come on here, say I didn't know we were doing this. Me and James are gonna do the Retro Wrestling Review series where we're gonna review the Fighting with My Family's documentary. But obviously, like I said, James might completely forgot. Say, I didn't know we were doing this. What are we doing? Like what happened today.
I really was doing on Friday.
Huh?
I thought you were supposed to do it on Friday.
He couldn't do it, so.
Of course he didn't.
So you might can you do it tomorrow if he says he can't do it?
Yeah.
All right, so you better watch that. If I find out you didn't if I find out
the Page documentary one of the movie.
The documentary.
I've already seen it, so yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, if you come on and you haven't watched it, we're reviewing Main Event for 5 weeks, so.
No, we're not. Fuck that.
Whoa, there's a threat right there.
Yeah. Well, Noah loves Main Event. He thinks Main Event matters, so. Yeah. But that's pretty much it. We're just rambling and talking about nothing. So everyone, we're gonna end this video off. Everybody say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good night, folks.